As if you needed me to tell you anything. Hot off the presses here, folks. I just got the headline for you here. Relationships are dead. R.I.P. 2024. Hot off the presses here, we've got a couple of articles here. One in particular from some studies from some of these prominent dating sites. And you know me, I don't talk about dating, I talk about power dynamics, and you're going to see exactly what that's about here shortly. But let's go ahead and take you to the first one here. Daters want to leave body count stigma in 2023, eHarmony says. So if you want to know about the attitudes of women, and yes, this is going to be female-centric. This is not Jason talking. These things on here are really going to be female-centric is what they're going to be talking about here. So if you want to know what it is that the females are looking for most, that you stop this body count talk. Let's just leave that alone. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and take a look at the article itself, and you all are going to go along with it. You're all going to take the ride along with me here. Singles share. This is from November 9th, by the way, just a couple weeks ago. Singles share their New Year sexlutions in eHarmony's latest Dating Diaries report by Anna Iovine. 2024 isn't quite here yet, but daters are already working on their sex solutions, according to eHarmony. The longtime dating app released its latest Dating Diaries, a report of how 1,600 adults 21 and over surveyed in late September and early October this year feel about sex and love. All participants are either dating, in a relationship, cohabitating, or married. And results were weighed to be nationally representative by age, gender, and region. Among participants, sexy New Year's resolutions were eliminating body count stigma. Most, 67% of singles, don't plan on asking their next partner how many people they slept with. And only 24% think the number actually matters. 67% don't plan on asking their next partner how many people they slept with, and only 24% think the number actually matters. In the new year, 19% of singles overall and 26% of Gen Z singles want to experiment with more sex positions because the world doesn't have enough of that. They'll need to be able to open up to do so, but that's a challenge for Gen Z, who were least likely of the generations to communicate sexual wants verbally after sex with a partner. 40%, 36% of Gen Z. Now it's amazing. This is from the folks who are showing their butts on Instagram all day, but okay. 36% of Gen Z, however, are prioritizing sexual communication going into the new year. If you want to prioritize this too, head to this nonsense article here. So amazing. No wonder you're not going to be asking folks how many folks they slept with. You're just trying to get down to doing naked yoga. Quote, the strength of our connection with partners isn't dependent on how much experience we bring to the table or even the frequency of sex. When it comes to building intimacy, it's the quality of our communication that has the greatest impact on whether or not we will leave an interaction feeling fulfilled. An interaction, said eHarmony relationship and sex expert Casey Tanner in the press release. Quote, because many of us have learned that it's not okay to speak openly about sex, we may find ourselves on a steep learning curve when it comes to discussing our sexual desires, and that's okay. Well, if you got a high body count, how can you possibly, it sounds to me like you're at the top of that learning curve. Meanwhile, there's still very much an orgasm gap. 32% of participants in relationships always orgasm with a partner, but 61% say an orgasm is very important. Only 61%? Who's the other 39? A quarter, 25%. Why are you doing it? A quarter, 25%, have even ended a relationship if they weren't able to orgasm with a partner. Millennials were most likely to do so, 31%. Millennials also slept with more people than any other generation in 2023, according to eHarmony, and 38% want more sex in 2024, but we know that it's not the males having all the sex. So we know it's not the males having all the sex. We know that the males are least likely to have sex today at a record pace. So who is this millennial generation having all this sex here? Who are they? Well, you know exactly who they are. You know exactly who it is. Come on now, we know it's not the males. We've shown you survey after survey that says that it's not the males doing it. So we know who it is who's out there doing it big and getting it in and getting it over and getting it how they live, and city girls. Living that city girl life. All right, we know who it is out there. We know who it is. All right. Just want to clarify that for a moment. eHarmony also identified several dating trends, like how almost half, 48% of Gen Z singles have dating regrets this year. And their top regret is wishing they prioritized themselves over dating. Now, you know who that is. You know who that is. I know my worth. Their top dating goal for 2024 is to find a long-term relationship, 49%, followed by dating intentionally, 47%, whatever in the hell that's supposed to mean. To quote, to get out of a dating regret rut, daters are intentionally setting up 2024 differently, said eHarmony relationship expert Laurel House. In order to reset and restart in a healthy way, daters should take a broader look at all of their dating encounters and realize that in order to change your love life, your associations, actions, and attitudes must align with your renewed mindset. What? What the hell is she talking about? To change your life, your associations, actions, and attitudes must align with your renewed mindset. What kind of damn Oprah gobbledygook is that? Millennials are prioritizing strong relationships. Nearly half, 49%, want a healthier relationship in 2024. 27% of millennial singles wish they had been more proactive with a crush in 2023. Let me get this straight now. So millennials are sleeping with more people than any other generation in 2023. They're sleeping with more people, but then they're prioritizing strong relationships? What? How the hell can someone work out the math on that one? By the way, if you like tonight's program, give me a thumbs up in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. There's over 1,200 people in here live in just the first 7 minutes. YouTube's going to try to suppress the program here tonight because I'm not abiding by can you wait 15 minutes or so before you sit up here and say language that YouTube doesn't like. I'm coming straight out the gate. So if you like tonight's program, give me the thumbs up emoji and hit the likes button for me because I'm giving you the facts and figures and numbers about this. It says 30% of all couples want to explore their sexuality more, while 20% overall and 28% of Gen Z couples specifically want to engaged or married. Proofread, people. Finally, eHarmony identified the 2024 dating leagues, aka the top qualities singles are looking for in their partners. Gen Z singles, of which 30% prefer to date people, quote, out of their league, whatever that means. 3 traits they're most looking for in a partner is emotional intelligence, that's the women, humor, that's the women, and intelligence, that might be the men. Millennials are a little different. 73% of millennials singles have dated someone out of their league at some point. Well, this millennials are sleeping with everybody. So, all right, at least the girls are. Now, the top 3 traits they're looking for in a potential partner in 2024 is also emotional intelligence, 26%, followed by intelligence, 19%, and physical attractiveness, 15%. Gen Z and millennials are becoming culture shifters in regard to mental health, quality of life, and healing, said eHarmony relationship expert Mina B in the press release. So the women are writing all these press releases at eHarmony. They just keep saying Gen Z and millennials. They're referring to females. It makes sense that their interests in a partner are rooted in qualities such as emotional intelligence, humor, and intellect. And what the hell does emotional intelligence mean? Nobody can define that for you either. It just means whatever you want. So, yes, going into 2024, the ladies are saying, stop talking about body counts. We don't want to discuss body counts. Why do body counts matter? And there is a reason why this particular ideology, thought process, this tactic is going to work with a certain number of males, because that works great for losers and incels. They don't give a damn how many men she slept with, so long as she is willing to do what most women won't do, which is sleep with him. So he's willing to overlook a body count a mile long because he's not having any sexual contact whatsoever. None whatsoever. You want to know why it is the OnlyFans is popping? You want to know why it is the OnlyFans is making some females out there, disproportionate number, a lot of money, and the train isn't slowing down? If you want to know why that is, it is because they have starved. Most males today are starved, and the females know it. Most males today are sexually starved. They are famished. They just sitting on the sidelines, just ravenous. Cookie! They can't stand it. They are just desperate. A crumb fall off the table and it erupts into a knife fight. And the women know it. So the power dynamic is all screwed up. The power dynamic is completely screwed up. And the females today, the attitude is, ladies, I got to read the mail. The attitude today is, look here, men need to just pay. If you want sexual access, it needs to be cash on the table. I got to pat them pockets down. And what they've done is they have sufficiently sexually impoverished. I guess I'm creating a new phrase tonight. They've sexually impoverished. Over 2/3 of the male population is sexually impoverished. And as a result, they are basically sexual vagrants and sexual panhandlers. They're just begging all over the place. So they end up being in these raw, ugly, sadistic, transactional situations, because that's all he can really get. So it's prostitution. It is prostitution by another name. Well, I don't have any physical contact with them. You're vicariously prostituting yourself because you're prostituting yourself in mass. By the way, one of these days I'll talk about the OnlyFans wives generation. Imagine being an OnlyFans wife. Try being an OnlyFans husband to some chick who's been out there on OnlyFans. Good luck there. Bunch of women out here making a bunch of money. Lots of money. And these chicks aren't tens. Let me say this again. They're not tens. Not dissing anybody. I'm just saying these are just average chicks. These are an average chick in front of a webcam knocking down 12 grand a week. Average. What that means is that the majority of the male population, being so sexually starved and sexually impoverished, they're just ravenous. They'll just take anything. This is how separated from actual contact they really are. They are just completely impoverished at this point. That they will just take whatever. And the power dynamic is screwed up. So you've got a bunch of desperate incel-minded males. And they're just like, man, look here, I'll make her the girl of my dreams if she'll just pay some attention to me for a few moments. If I can just lick the crumbs off the floor just for, baby, what do I got to do to get a few moments of you acknowledging me? And she's like, look here, $5 her an hour. It's like, hold on a minute, let me get my credit card. Let me get my credit card. Where I got that? And it's not just one or two guys. It is enough men to make these women hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. There are enough men doing it to get these chicks. I mean, back when we were children, you just had a few chicks who could do that. Vanessa Del Rio or a Playboy Playmate, and they had to go through, corporate channels. Today, now that you've got direct-to-consumer channels, you've got average chicks, and these fellas are showing what they will do. Follow men's money, and you see what they really believe in. They are really breaking bread. They are actually in the real world breaking bread, and not for tens either. They're not just doing it for tens. They're doing it for whatever they can get. Y'all have seen them, these size 16s, 18s, 20s. There's fellas ponying up money for that. There are fellas ponying up money for that. This is where we are today. This is where we are. So yeah, let me sleep with as many people as I possibly can. Let me do whatever in the world it is I want to do. And when my run is over, because we all know the run is going to come to an end. The run is going to come to an end. And when it does, okay, now that I've slutted myself from here to Neptune, let me go scramble and get a husband because the money ain't coming in anymore. So let me go see if there's one of these desperate simps in society who is willing to overlook a body count that looks like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Let me see if I can get him to overlook that. And there are some desperate sad sacks who will, until eventually they get mocked enough and then he feels bad about that, and so it never works out. Ignoring a female's body count is the absolute worst thing that a male can do, because a woman's sexual behavior is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, barometer of her mental and emotional health. A woman who opens her body to every male, regardless of his quality, which is the only way you get a high body count. You can't get a high body count out of a bunch of quality men, because by definition, the numbers don't work that way. A high body count is a product of a female who has no standards. And that is a result of her mental and emotional health or lack thereof. Ignoring her body count is the dumbest thing that you can do as a man, because you're betting your future on her mental and emotional health, and she's demonstrating through her actions it ain't there. You're so worried about, but everybody sleep with everybody except me. And telling yourself that, okay, this will be a easy victory. And then you find out actually low-hanging fruit is the most expensive fruit that you can buy. But if you thought the eHarmony was enough, the eHarmony hasn't run the numbers enough here. Oh, eHarmony's not alone. Bumble, everybody's favorite misandrist-run website. Bumble has released their 2024 dating trends predictions. Hang on to your butts. And guess who? Miss Anna Iovine is back again here. Daters are prioritizing emotional intimacy above sex and redefining what relationship timelines mean. Now wait till you hear the details about this. Ladies, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, the end of 2023, which means it's time for 2024 predictions. Last year, Bumble dropped several dating trends to watch out for this year, like love-life balance and dating beyond our type. Now the dating app has whipped up its forecast for next year, including value-based dating and not caring about typical relationship timelines. Well, I wonder what value means. Not what folk tell you it means, but what do they actually mean when they say value? Stay tuned, sports fans. Cross-gen romance. Oh, I think I just figured out what the value means for at least half the population. Bumble says singles. Now remember, Bumble is a site set up to give females preferential treatment. It's set up to be discriminatory in favor of females, nakedly discriminatory. So that's what Bumble's website is for. So when you hear these things, remember, this is all skewed towards women's preferences. This is all set up for women's interests. So let's see what they say. Bumble says single women, are more open to dating older or younger. So what does that tell you? A bunch of chicks are aging out, and they are now realizing very, very early on that they're going to be left without a chair when the music stops. So now they're just saying, man, let me just grab what I can get. For 63% of folks, age isn't a defining factor, and 59% of women say they're now more open to dating someone younger than them. 59% of women say they are now more open to dating someone younger than them. According to research conducted by Bumble this September with a sample of over 26,800 Bumble members globally. Further, more than 1 in 3 women, 35%, say they've become less judgmental toward age gap relationships over the last year. As I said, so as they begin to head towards splattering on that wall, and all of a sudden, well, age doesn't matter now that they need to throw a Hail Mary. Since the pandemic, started before then, dating apps have seen a rise in people who want matches to care about the same issues they do. See green dating, don't you mean money? Now, Bumble reports that singles are looking for partners to not only care about social causes, but actively engage. So does this mean male feminists? They call this Valcore dating, or the rise of singles valuing engagement on issues that matter to them. 1 in 4 people on Bumble think it's key for their partner to be engaged in political and social issues. Women are less open to someone with different political views, according to Bumble. For 33%, it's a turnoff if someone they're seeing isn't aware of current issues. Now, listen to what they say here. Women are less open to someone with different political views. So what they're saying is, if you don't agree with abortion, crazy body counts, sexual liberation, sex work, slutting your way through your 20s and excusing it. So those are the political issues and the social issues that they're referring to. Correct? LGBT overlooking her same-sex sexual encounters, overlooking all that. Yeah, so in other words, she can bring you the leftovers and let's just keep it pushing. Now, this next part is key. And I don't mean Palmer. Want you all to listen to this next part here. Stop the self-improvement trap, especially in the U.S., especially in the United States. There's a sense that we always need to better ourselves. Now, who in the hell would have a problem with bettering themselves? Oh. Wait till you see what they mean. This is reflected in Bumble's research. 59% of singles, that's red women, feel pressure to constantly look for ways to self-improve. This impacts mental health. Men don't complain about mental health because you have to improve. 24% feel unworthy of a partner, if they haven't invested in themselves. In other words, if men find you undesirable. Some singles, however, are bucking against this trend. 2 in 3 women on Bumble, 68%, are taking active steps to be happy with who they are now. What you see on your screen, this is what it means to be happy with who you are now. This is being happy with who you are now. This is what it means. It means that. But it goes beyond just that. It goes beyond just that. Because remember, the sluts are happy with the way they are too. Not only are they happy, they're proud of it. They are proud of it. So just remember, this is not simply isolated to how they look. This is also encompassing what they do and what they've done. And men are being told to just ignore what they've done. Period. Just ignore it. Now, listen to this next part. 68% of women are taking active steps to be happy with who they are now. And 40%, almost half, say they'll only date people, LGBT, who won't try to change them. 40% of the women who responded to Bumble's survey say that they'll only date people, you mean men, who will not try to change them. Fellas, understand what that actually means. Not try to change them. In other words, a man who isn't going to lead. A woman doesn't come to you suitable and fitted for you. A man has to be in charge of his home. He's got to set the trend, which means that the woman is going to have to make alterations and adjustments to get with the man's program. And they're telling you that 40% of the women said, I'm not going to change. How does a man agree to become protector and provider, put his life on the line, agree to stand in front of bullets, indebt himself, take on responsibilities for a female? How is a man supposed to do that? And she's telling him that she is not going to change. She's not going to, it is her principle that she doesn't have to alter anything. In other words, what these women are saying is, I'm perfect the way I am. I'm just fine just the way I am. I'm perfect already. 40%. And I would suggest to you that that's actually a minority of the female population, because in reality, double that number to 80%. Even the females who tell you they're submissive, you start seeing signs that they're actually not. But yeah, stop the self-improvement trap. So this feminist nutcase writer is telling you, by the way, the women are saying, we'll only date men who won't try to change them. So he's supposed to just accept you as you are, bad attitude, bastard kids, weight loss journey, messed up attitude, STDs, slutty sexual habits. He's supposed to just take all that and just be okay with whatever you slop off the table. As I said before, in this day and age, the women are used to men being in a sexual drought. They become accustomed to this abusive psychosexual culture that whatever you do, the men are supposed to change. Let's be clear. Oh, somebody's supposed to change, all right, but it's the men who are supposed to change. The men are supposed to adapt. Here's the problem. The second that you do, she loses all desire for you because you're a pushover. So they tell you that they're not going to change and you just need to accept them the way they are. So you sit up here and get beat down and desperate. And so you start altering for her. As soon as you do that, she's sleeping with an Andrew Tate or somebody like that. Yes, somebody who doesn't bend for her. Because she cannot submit to you and she can't desire you because you're reminding her of a male version of herself. But that's not stopping them from demanding the unworkable. They're trying to demand exactly what they don't want. If they get a man who accepts them in that condition, they don't want him. The men who will accept her the way she is, she doesn't want him. She wants a man that she can conform to. But at the same time, she's going to try to knuckle you under to conform to her. And these folks are sitting here congratulating it. Yeah, because women who act like that are never gonna leave Bumble. Damn. A woman who is not gonna change for a man, oh, she's never gonna leave Bumble. She's gonna be there for the rest of her damn life. She is going to be there for the rest of her days. And Bumble will tell you you're perfectly fine without a man. And you'll sit there, rah, rah, I don't need no man. Then you go to bed, and that's why the damn body counts are out of this damn world, because the females talk that noise online. Just as soon as she logs off the iPhone, she's looking for something warm to snuggle up with, because these articles and her iPhone are not going to keep her warm at night. So they're saying one thing and doing something else. Emotional intimacy is key. Okay, Miss Iovine needs a man. Emotional intimacy is key. A focus on dating someone who is in tune with their mental health and goes to therapy has been on the rise for a couple of years. Now, Bumble sees how important emotional intimacy is for daters. 1/3, 32%, believe emotional intimacy is more important than sex, and that's more attractive than physical connection. Fellas, if a woman tells you that her emotional connection to you is more important than a sexual connection to you, that is because she is trying to sleep with other people. But she wants you to stay where you are because she can use you. You got the bag, you're desperate, you're retired, you're out of your mind, you're simped out, you're in a drought, you don't have any manhood about you here. And she's like, well, hey, look here, ain't you ready to just give up? I'll take the age gap, younger or older. Let me go ahead and run this damn thing. I also want to ask you all one more question here for the men listening. I'll get to the women here in just a moment. To the men listening. Fellas, if you know a female who has been to therapy and it actually worked and changed her, give me the green check mark emoji. If you know a female who's been to therapy and it actually did change her and turn her into a better person who dealt with life differently, give me the green check mark emoji. But fellas, if all the females you've known who ever went to therapy, the only thing it ended up doing was a pitching and moaning session, and she left out of there the exact same person she came in as, give me the red X emoji in the chat room. If the females that you know who went to therapy, they came out the same or worse than they went in, that you don't know any female who's ever been to therapy who actually came out better for it, give me the red X emoji in the chat room. More red X's than Family Feud. Mr. Leisure? Okay. Can't wait to figure out who that was. Brother, you are in the woeful minority. You are in the woeful minority. Let's be very, very clear. Women don't, ladies, I got to read the mail. Women do not go to therapy in order to get better. And that's the truth. Women go to therapy to get confirmation of what they already think or what they already feel. And that's reality.
And deal with it, nigga.
But it's the truth. If a woman goes to a therapist who disputes what she's saying, for those of you who saw that guy who was talking to Joe Smith and his porn star wife, if a woman goes to a therapist and that therapist tells her, if the therapist starts talking about her too much and focusing on her too much, she's going to say, that's the problem. You're against me. You're taking his side. That's why couples therapy doesn't work. Couples therapy doesn't work because if the woman doesn't like what the therapist is saying, she is either going to argue with the therapist or she's going to get up and leave and quit. And she's going to be like, that therapist is bad. We need to find us another one. You go into couples therapy, you're like, hey, this therapist is calling right down the middle. We're great. If the therapist tells her anything she's doing is wrong, if the therapist points out anything she's doing that needs to change, if the therapist points out anywhere where she's a problem, she's going to say, damn therapy. I don't need to go. So even if you can get a woman in therapy, she's gonna quit if that therapist isn't giving her the answers that she already wants to hear. Now, if the therapist is telling you, well, sir, you're a misogynist and toxic masculinity, blah, 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 you're abusive and you're hateful and you watch too much red pill content and blah, 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 blah. Now, if the therapist says that, oh, your woman will be there for the next 30 years. Hell, she'll be early to the place. She'll be sitting there sipping on tea, talking to the therapist when you walking in. But if the therapist says anything about her or points out where she needs to improve or make alterations, oh, she'll just quit going. She will just quit going. She'll tell you, me and the therapist didn't click. We didn't get along. She was taking your side. That's what it's going to be. That's what it'll be. So that's the reason why men today, ladies, let me explain to you. You all ain't gonna grab us with that therapy con job because as men, we see therapists the same way that we see them pimp pastor preachers at the church. Don't try to drag us into no church thing because we understand why you're doing that. We don't need that man running our house. And with the therapist, we know you running game with that one too. So that's not really gonna sway us. That's not gonna sway us. We know that that's a game. So when a man hears that you in therapy, all we understand is, these are problems that are not going to get fixed because that's not why women go to therapy. Women go to therapy for comfort. They don't go for transformation. They go for comfort. They want a therapist who's going to pat on their hand and comfort them. And most therapists do that because most therapists are females and most therapists are broke. Most therapists are female and most therapists are broke. So they will tell your woman anything she wants to hear in order to keep her coming back week after week. Who gives a damn if it's making your house unlivable? Who gives a damn if it's making your life miserable? Who gives a damn if it's torment to you? Who gives a damn if he or she is feeding her narcissism? Oh, well, she paid the thing this week. I can pay my little office rent. The therapist will sit there and anything she complains about, they're just going to tell her, well, you need to get away from that. Well, I don't like this with this man. Ooh, you need to get away from him. I don't like this with my mom. You need to get away from her. I don't like this with my kids. You need to get away from them. I don't like this at my job. You need to quit that job. That's the only thing that they recommend. To the ones who can't recommend a prescription, that's the only thing they're going to tell you. Any complaint that she walks in with, they're going to tell them the other person, the other party, the other whatever. Ooh, they're wrong. They're bad. All I can tell you is you need to get away from them. And the women go for it because they just tell me what I want to hear. Don't argue with me. I'm paying you. Isn't this supposed to be like buying a pair of shoes? The customer is always right. Now, Bumble sees how important emotional intimacy is for daters. 1/3, 32% believe emotional intimacy is more important than sex. So fellas, if you're the simp and she's sitting up here hitting you for money, she's going to start demanding that you back off the sex, because in reality, she doesn't really want to have sex with you. Add that to being a chick with a high body count. Oh, dude, she going to run your pockets and not give you any sex. When you first met, it was XXX rated. Soon as she's got you over a barrel with a ring or a kid, the spigot gets turned off because she's like, okay, you have to keep paying for me because the courts will back me up, but I can stop having sex with you now. Whew, that sure takes the pressure off. 78% of women, 78, said it's important for their partner to understand both emotional and physical intimacy. So the men need to soften up is what they're saying. The men need to get softer. So they're so spoiled today. We live in a society today that's so spoiled where the females want the men to become their male gal pals, as opposed to the men being juxtapositioned against the feminine. They want the men now to become their male gal pals, that he'll be this rugged alpha when she needs it, but then he's gonna flip and become some soap opera watching beta when she doesn't have females. And let's be very, very clear about this. Most women today don't have any true female friends. But that's the truth.
And deal with it, nigga.
Most females today don't actually have any female friends. They've got female associates. They've got female long-term acquaintances. They've got frenemies. Most females today do not have any actual female friends. This is why these are women who are constantly catty, compete against each other, trying to knock each other off, in competition shamelessly to steal or take each other's men. The sisterhood stops when the men are no longer around. Women got the longest knives out for each other. And this is why the body count situation is so damn outrageous, because the only people that these women can get along with for any real length of time today are men. And of course, men as a group are not going to keep a woman around unless they're having sex with her. So this is why these women's only real quote unquote friends are males. So fellas, big red, super big red warning sign. If you talk to a chick and she tells you she doesn't have any female friends, that means the only people she associates with are males. And we know what that means. Body count out this world. And she's going to lie to you and tell you, oh, I ain't slept with nobody. She'll be telling you she got a male roommate. I got a male roommate. Do you have to pay rent? No, he pays the rent, but we're not having sex. Any fella in here who's fallen for that one? So that's what happens here. Fellas, if a female tells you that she was sitting around here and, oh, man, I didn't do nothing. I don't have any female friends. That means, but she got a bunch of males. Okay, that body count is out of this damn world. So just recognize when you hear those things. All right. More feminist babble. Self-care still rules. 58% of singles, remember this is Bumble, so we're talking about women, are more open about their mental health according to Bumble, and are making an effort to slow down. This coincides with an emphasis on intentional dating that began, you guessed it, during the pandemic. 1 in 3, 31%, are slow dating and want quality over quantity. Excuse me? I don't think that's quite right. I don't think that's quite right. Matter of fact, according to your other data here, no, that's actually not quite correct. So no, I don't think so. I don't think so. These stats are higher for women. 36%, 40 in the US alone, are actively seeking people who practice and value self-care. Please remember, these are the women who said that they don't want you to try to change them. when they define self-care, that means the man changing himself. Well, if you were going to therapy, you see that you see where you're wrong at. If you thought I was wrong, take a look at the very next thing. Open-hearted masculinity. So not a word about open-hearted or logical femininity. Next part here is bludgeoning and beating on men and man bashing. Open-hearted masculinity. So now they're about to attempt to tell men how to be men. Now they just said that they were looking for people who weren't gonna try to change them. Now I told you that this is about the women. I thought you said that they're looking for people who won't try to change them. Oh, we mean the women that you're not gonna try to change us women. But okay, why is Mashable and Bumble trying to bludgeon and beat and bully men into changing ourselves? Why can't you just accept us the way we are? Remember, we only want to date people who won't try to change us. Then why are you coming in the door trying to change us? I thought you just said that's out. Oh, it's out for the women, but it's in for the men. Yeah, the women don't need to be changed. The men, though, you all need to alter your hearts. The manosphere alpha male has seemingly been in vogue in 2023 with influence, seemingly. The numbers are off the damn scales, but okay. With influencers like Andrew Tate influencing followers of all ages. Thankfully, now this is her bias, there are men out there who aren't falling for it. Now wait till you get to the numbers. Bumble found that 1 in 4 men globally, 25%, and 31% in the US have actively changed their behavior. I'd like to see the question that they asked that indicates that, or was that worded in a tricky way? 31% of men in the US have changed their behavior. Excuse me, Miss Iovine, I thought you just said that we should only date people who won't try to change us. I thought you just said that. 2 paragraphs later, well, 31% of the men, and they've actively changed their behavior. Boy, these people are so hypocritical. They're so fast with it, they hit themselves coming. She spun on that hypocrisy so fast, she hit herself coming. 2 paragraphs later, she's proven herself hypocritical, just that quickly. They changed their behavior and became more vulnerable with their partners than ever before. 1 in 4, 25%, have also found that this openness has been positive for their mental health. According to whom? That's my question. If this is supposedly positive for their mental health, my question is, according to whom? Who is it? Who told them that this was positive and that this was a positive change for their mental health? Who told them that? Who told these fellas that? Who said that to them? That's what I want to know. Who told them that? Was it other men, or was it the female that they're with who said, you need to change, while she declares to you, I ain't changing for nobody? So if you all thought that I was being hyperbolic before, or exaggerating, or jumping to conclusions about who they were talking about, women, and what they were trying to say, men need to change, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, she tried to hide it and conceal it, but the truth comes out. If you dig long enough, it comes out. It says 1 in 4 have also found that this openness has been positive for their mental health, while 32% overall and 35% in the US even think being open and vulnerable is the most important aspect in a relationship. When we all know that women despise quote unquote vulnerable men. They're saying to be even more. So all these things that women sit up here and complain about, they're literally sitting up here year after year beating men over the head with the same damn lie. You guys need to be more vulnerable, more vulnerable, more vulnerable. In other words, you need to be more submissive. Submissive for a man, submissive is always pay all the bills, regardless of how low my quality as a woman is. You give me high quality treatment, even as a low quality female. That's what you do. Yes, and it is abusive. That's what you do. You give me high quality treatment, even if I'm the gutterest, lowest quality female, you still give me high quality treatment. It doesn't matter if I'm a strong 2, you give me 10 treatment. And Bumble and these websites are here to bully you into doing it. Quote, it is exciting to see people continue to lean into self-acceptance and vulnerability. They just say it was the men, talking about people. Folks, this is Nazi Germany level propaganda now. This is Nazi Germany level. Said Bumble sex and relationship expert Shan Broodram in the press release. When we are kinder to ourselves, we are able to make more meaningful, purposeful, and intentional connections both online and in real life. So basically, this word intentional is being weaponized. So this is the new game being run on females, is throwing this term around, intentional. And I guess that means bullying men into what you want. So if you tell the men this is the way things are going to be, then you don't call it bullying. You call it intentional. Well, you know what? That's also the standard for murder and assault is intent. By the way, relationship timeline decline. It sounds a little bit convoluted here, but listen to what they mean. The pandemic ushered in an era of us rethinking how we do things, including relationships. Some people came out, other people discovered they want to be non-monogamous. I wonder if that would work out for a chick who slutted her way through her 20s. Non-monogamy, because a man cannot be monogamous to a female who has submitted to dozens or hundreds of other men. It doesn't matter if she's ready to submit. A man cannot, in good conscience, become protector and provider to a female who has already shown that she submits to whatever man walks in the room. So a man biologically is going to be very adverse to that. Very adverse. This rejection of traditional monogamous relationships and expectations will continue in 2024. Bumble predicts. Women especially are building their own paths. Do you see how she's using all this damn flowery metaphorical language? Building their own paths. What, are they making a patio out back? Women are building their own paths. 31, that's journey. I'm on my journey. Remember, Jada Pinkett, her journey led to an entanglement. Remember? Keke Palmer's journey led to slutting and thotting on stage. Lori Harvey's journey is going from one bed to another. So do you realize this is the feminist babble where they sit up here and make some metaphor? Everything you're doing dumb and walking in circles, well, you need to understand, here's a metaphor. I'm walking my own path. I'm on my own journey. I am exploring I'm knowing my worth. So yeah, they're just creating new jargon. Same babble, new jargon. Women especially are building their own paths. 31% say they're no longer focused on adhering to traditional timelines and milestones. And the same amount want to only date people who have the same perspective. The latter number boosts to 37% in the US. While 72% of women are looking for a long-term relationship, 72%. Only 23% seek marriage. For 16% globally and 18% in the US, this means actively avoiding loved ones who pressure them. So they're talking about for the men need to change. For the women, The world needs to change for you. The men need to change who they are, but for the women, the world needs to change for them. Folks, this part right here, this rejection of traditional monogamous relationships, this means that the females are recognizing that if they don't qualify for a true, masculine, respected, and respectable male with any status, welcome to Build-A-Boo society. She wants permission to sleep with 4 or 5 men, get 4 or 5 desperate men who are in a drought the majority of their lives. The women are now saying they want the ability to sit up here and have 3 or 4 men that they can sponge benefits off of, which is why you see that they've taken OnlyFans like a duck to water. OnlyFans popping off is because female society has taken to this idea of leveraging sexuality for cash money on the table, that is female culture today. That their sexuality has a dollar value, which is why, fellas, it's stupid for you to talk as if that's not the way it is. If the women are the ones telling you, hey, there's a dollar value on it. There's a dollar value. Straight up and down. So the women are saying, I want to be able to date 3 or 4 guys. Date means sleep with 3 or 4 guys. Get whatever benefits I can out of them. And we'll call that a relationship now. Now, when they say not adhering to just traditional timelines and milestones, that means, can I crank out the bastard kids? I shouldn't have to meet a man, get married, have children. Or meet one man, date one man, marry one man, and then have that one man's children. I should be able to get out here and damn me freestyle. I mean, just coming off the top of the dome. I should be able to hit these damn streets and do what I do. That should be it. However I want to do it, wherever I want to do it, that's what it needs to be. And you men need to just accept it. And if I want to go ahead and have some kids, damn your timeline. I don't have to adhere to a timeline. Okay, here's the problem. The only male who's going to accept that is some broken beta simp. He's the only one who's going to accept that and put value on it. A sensible man isn't gonna do that. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. You're not gonna transform the men who are the majority, by the way. You're not gonna transform the men who are not gonna go for that. But what they are telling you here is about their intention to try to do it. Talking about intentional. This is their intent to try to do it, to have their cake and eat it too, to live their slut fantasy. Society has told females that they can actually pursue and live out their slut fantasy. Most females, I gotta read the mail, ladies. Most females have a slut fantasy. They want to have a bunch of different men and go taste the candy with a bunch of different men and have a bunch of wild, different sexual experiences, which is how females so easily rack up body counts in the dozens within a couple of short years. Okay, ladies, let me go ahead and just say something that you're going to find very, very uncomfortable for you, but baby, I got to read the mail. Remember when I told you all here a few weeks ago and the women were all saying, yes, that's right, when I said that if these women had their way, they would only wear clothes one time and then throw them away. That's the finicky nature of the female psyche. If these women, the ones in my chat room, the ones listening live or recorded, if they had their preference, they would wear their socks one time and then throw them away. They would never wear the same thing twice. Something as basic and generic as clothing, they don't actually have favorite clothes. If they had their way, they would only wear an outfit one time and then they would throw it away. They would only wear a pair of socks or shoes one time and then throw it away. Well, guess what? That also extends to men. If they had their way, they would only be with a fellow a couple of times and then hop on to the next. Oh, you thought this was limited to shoes and clothes and handbags? You thought it was limited to just that? No! If women had their way, if they had their preference, well, they would just sleep with you and then go hop to another one and then go hop on another guy and then go bounce on another guy and then go jump on another guy. That's what they would do, just like their fantasy about their socks, just like their fantasy about their clothes, just like their fantasy about the shoes. If they had their preferences, if they could just get out here and go, Olympic sexing through life, if they could just go marathon sexing through life, and a lot of them do, that's what they would do. They would just do that. I mean, just sleep with one fella one day and pop on to the next. Oh, yeah, with a brand new outfit too, by the way. With a brand new outfit. She would go to a new man the next day sporting a brand new outfit that she's never worn before. In the chat room, yes, they wish Cassie was living the female fantasy. That's why she was there for a decade. Cassie was living the female fantasy. If I can just live a high dollar slut fantasy, that's the ideal, is being a high dollar slut. It's like, hey, if I can just slut my way and there's no not only that, but I get financially rewarded, man, that's the perfect balance. Perfect balance. So when you hear them talking about these milestones and they don't want to adhere to these milestones, they don't want to adhere to these timelines. Notice she doesn't explain or define what timelines and milestones means. Notice she's not doing that. She just says this term and then goes down here talking about long-term relationships. She doesn't say anything about what that actually means. Most valuable partner. Told you we were going to come to this. Sharing an interest in sports is an extremely important factor in a potential partner for 31% of Bumble singles. Now, do you think those are the men or the women about sharing an interest in sports? You think those are the men or the women? Around a quarter, 24%, say that attending sports events together is important, especially among millennials and Gen Z. Sports interest badges are the most widely used in the U.S., Bumble states, with the top being basketball, football, and running. Seems like singles want their own Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce story. Fellas, listen to me. A lot of you may be emotionally and sexually stunted in your growth. So you think having a tomboy, a girl who's a tomboy, is cute. You got some chick with sweatpants sitting up here yelling at the TV. You got some chick, with her sandals on or flip-flops on in front of the television there, wearing that same old debutante high school pair of shorts she's been wearing for 10 years. Fellas, understand something. When you got a chick who does that, you need to ask some questions. Females don't gravitate to masculine sports. So if you got a female who's interested in contact sports, fighting sports, competitive full contact sports, you know she didn't pick that up on her own. You need to ask some questions. If this isn't something that she picked up from you, women don't gravitate to full contact sports. Women don't gravitate to fighting sports. Women don't gravitate to that. If she's doing that, that means that that's an attachment to another man. And she is bringing that to you. She's like, another man put me on to this, and she's bringing that to you. There's a whole bunch of fellas out here, some of you sorry sad sacks, y'all done bought houses for hoes who bringing you another man's sports fetish. What? I'm just reading the mail, fellas. I'm not trying to break no hearts here, but somebody gotta give you the real. You wanted to ignore that. You thought, ooh, his show is good. She likes sports. I've already told you how to debunk that. If she attempts to tell you that she's been watching sports her whole life, she's been watching football her whole life, that's perfectly fine. Ask her when she started and see if that date coincides with when she was with another man. And if she tries I've been doing it my whole life, tell her that's great. What was your favorite football game that you saw back when you were in high school? The Motor City Miracle? What was your favorite one? What was your favorite Super Bowl from back when you were in high school? If you've been watching it your whole life, tell me your favorite Super Bowl, because every football fan has especially those of us in our 30s and 40s, everyone's got a favorite game, favorite event from 20 years ago, if you've been watching that long. So if she's really been watching football or basketball or UFC or boxing or anything, kickboxing, all that damn time, if she has, then you should be able to go back a decade or two. But if you talk to her and that coincides with the last nigga she was with, now you know where she picked it up from. Are you still cool with her sports fetish now? Especially if she got a jersey from a city she don't even live in. Some of you fellas got a chick talking to you with a football jersey for a city you don't even live in. You living in Dallas and she's repping, damn me, Seattle. What? Some of you fellas here, I'm hurting feelings tonight. Some of y'all are going to go ask some questions and be like, damn, Jason, we're telling the truth. They're going to come back here crying next week. Ain't you wrong with that, man? I wish I didn't know. Well, it's true, fellas. A female tomboy. A tomboy is what you look out for. A tomboy done slept with a bunch of dudes. A tomboy with all these masculine traits or these masculine interests. And you're like, oh, that's cool. I got a chick I can watch football with. I got a chick I can watch boxing with. Dude, that's supposed to be sending up some red flags. That's supposed to be sending up some red flags. Because what I'm telling you is that you are failing. You're unable to imprint yourself on her. You are unable to make any impression on her. She's carrying the forming and the molding of a more powerful man. You're just the guy paying the damn bills. You're just the guy tolerating her crap. You're just the guy tolerating her sexual history. You're just the guy who's picking up the damn crumbs. She's coming to you molded by another man, and she is refusing to change. She's like, oh, I'm good like I am. Remember, we're not adhering to traditional relationships. So yeah, if I come here with the interests or the things that I've learned on my own path, the things that I learned on my own path with this other man, well, yes, you pay the bills, and no, I'm not taking up any of your interests. I'm not adhering to any of those. They don't thrill me. I'm not passionate. See, fellas, here's the issue here. You cannot bludgeon, bully, beat, malign, nag, moan a female into genuine passion. You can't do that. If a woman doesn't have genuine passion for you, if she's not passionate about something, she can't fake it. That's the issue. It's not going to work because she can't fake it. You begging and moaning and whining and telling her, oh, will you please come over here to me with your affair? That's not going to work. A woman can't pretend to be passionate about the same things that you are passionate about. And if you are weak, see, if a man is strong, a woman adheres to the things that he likes because she wants to be like him, because she is aroused and attracted to that innate strength, that masculinity. You call it whatever the hell you want to. That's what a woman is looking for. When a fella is weak, nigga, she don't want to hear about your damn stamp collection. She is never going to become passionate about you watching tennis. What? Your woman is never going to become passionate about you in ballroom dancing. Save your damn sewing and needle fetish. She's not going to become passionate about that. But when you see a woman who is passionate about something that is outside of the feminine realm of interest, she was imprinted on by another man. That's another man who put the game in her, and she grew and changed and evolved. And now she's sitting up here seeing that she gets along with people better. She can move in other circles. She's getting a different type of response from people. Yeah, because that man changed her. A woman is looking for a man who can change her, but she doesn't trust a weak man to change her. Which is why the fella's begging and moaning. That's not what she wants. She wants a fella who holds firm and that this is who he is. And he's like, if you're going to be around me, this is what you got to do. And now she picks up something new. She didn't think she could do it before. Now she does. Next thing you know, she's passionate about it because that man showed her how it can work for her. So you fellas better watch the interests of the females that you're around and with. You better watch their interests. Watch the things that they gravitate to. Watch it when they tell you, we don't want traditional monogamy. Watch it when they tell you about they're on their own path. Watch it when you see that you're paying bills and yet your interests and her interests don't align. That she's not genuinely passionate. That she sees the things that you're interested in and she ain't picking that up. There's a bunch of fellas right now. You have bought houses, cars. Some of you dumbasses got married, having children with a woman, and 20 damn years later, she is no more like you today than she was when you met her. And you sitting there thrilling yourself with some dish rag sex, and meanwhile, by the way, she's the same woman she was when you met her. Because reading the room and actually taking the proper temperature would be more than you could take. That would be more than you could take. These trends highlight a positive shift towards celebrating who you are as you are, moving away from traditional timelines, redefining outdated expectations, and seeking shared values, said Broodram. I look forward to seeing what 2024 holds for the Bumble community as they continue to bring their most authentic selves to the table and make kind connections. So in other words, the women 2024, live out your slut fantasy. Rack up that body count through the damn roof. Tell them that they shouldn't ask you about how many dudes you slept with in 2023 when he walks up on you in 2024. Damn! He should just take whatever beach towel sex he gets from you. He should just take it and be cool with it going forward. That's all he deserves. He doesn't need anything else. Nothing else. Miss Iovine probably got an apartment full of cats. An apartment full of cats. So they're basically telling you that going into 2024, the women can just slut to the oldies. Not sweat to the oldies, slut to the oldies. And whatever you want to do, it is cool. Why, who cares what you don't want to have kids? Oh, have a gaggle of them. You want to get married? Don't get married at all. But we know you still gonna keep sleeping with people. There's the whole thing. They're acknowledging that the women are slamming their foot on the gas pedal to hop into bed and have as much sex as they can. So the women are being told, have as much sex as you can, have as few relationships as you can. Did you get that? Do you all see how that fits in there? The women are being told, have as much sex as you want, but don't have a bunch of real relationships. Keep those to a minimum. But get out there, baby, and slut it up. Slut it up. And don't worry, there'll be a guy sitting at the end of the thought rainbow who is going to be chomping at the bit to take you off the market. And I'm not going to lie, there will be some sad sack simp somewhere, but he's not going to be very valuable. He's not going to be very desirable. You'll be fighting for the bottom of the barrel. And if you do grab a chick who's got some crazy ass body count and all the mental and emotional imbalances that go with it, you're going to be sitting there with a female who is used to jumping from one man to another. And now you're going to try to how can one man satisfy a female who's practiced over the course of 5, 10, 20 years from her most formative years in life is to jump from one man to another? Now she got to sit there with you. That's against her being. She's not going to be satisfied with that. She can't be satisfied with that. She can't be okay with that. She can't tolerate that. She's going to want something different. Now I just got to tell you all here, man, to the young fellas, this is brainwashing. This is brainwashing, man. What they're doing up here right now, they're trying to tell you young fellas here that you should not accept, that you shouldn't expect anything. That whatever they throw at you, whatever they hand at you, whatever they do, you're supposed to just take whatever you are given. That you shouldn't expect anything. You got a chick who's sitting here walking in the damn house smelling like the sweat of another man. Oh well. She is exploring her path. She is on her journey, and you just need to let her go ahead and get in. Stop trying to limit her. Why, you are misogynistic. You are misogynistic. So she needs to explore her path, but you need to become more open-hearted about her sexual adventurism. So Andrew Tate, sexual adventurism, bad for men, great for women. Bad for the men, fantastic for the women. Fantastic for them. However, some of you might disagree. I don't know, Connie. I might have you give me a call to explain that. I'd like to find out exactly what you mean. Some of you may disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. This is the one. I want to say a big shout out here to all of the people here who support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo, my man Cadario Jackson, Thomas Ricks, For the Great, and everyone else here. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get the Zoom up and going here as well. Please remember that we do give priority to Zoom callers. The only thing that we require, however, is that you make sure that you have your camera and your microphone on. Those are the ground rules before you even attempt to get on Zoom. If you do not have your camera and your microphone on, we will just assume that you are trying to troll and you'll go on a permanent vacation. But as always, we do give priority to Zoom. So if you want to call into the program, you do have those options available to you as well. R.I.P. to relationships 2024. They're already getting ready to go ahead and shut it down. It's already getting ready to get shut down. Nothing you can do. Fellas, they're just telling you that whatever cast off, bottom of the barrel, not even second hand, 10, 12, 30th hand that gets tossed to you, that's the best you can expect. Hell, actually, you have no right to expect anything, according to what they're saying. You have no right to expect anything. Nothing at all. Whatever gets slopped off the garbage can at you, that's what you're supposed to be okay with. And ladies, what I'm telling you is that do you all really think that you're going to be happy with a man who has no standards, with a man who just takes whatever he can get, with a man who doesn't express, you know what? I'm not okay with that. Ladies, do you really think that you're ever going to be okay with that guy? Of course you don't. You know you won't. What they do is they just hang out until finally they get so broken down and busted down, they look for a savior, and then you just torment him for the rest of his days, as long as he'll sit there and tolerate it. Bad business. Bad business. Let's go ahead and hit up the phone lines here. Let me get caller from area code 317. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Mr. Black. My name is Maurice Johnson, calling from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, Maurice, if you're on speakerphone, you need to take it off.
Yes, sir.
What's on your mind?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, what is on your mind?
I just wanted to chime in on this. Yeah, I just wanted to... Hello?
Okay, brother, last try. What is on your mind?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just want to chime in on this. I've been noticing relationships for a while now, just seeing how people, I want to say, are interacting with each other. Like relationships aren't working for males or women. I've been single since I was 23, and I've been perfectly fine having my rotation or employees, if you will. And for me, what's worked for me is just knowing if you can execute the program, if you can show confidence after I've given you the handbook, and if you show incompetence, I feel like I have no use for you. That's just my standpoint with it. It's not from a using standpoint. It's just if I have a mission, if I have my own goal, you're supposed to be here executing and playing perfectly for what I've given to you.
How old are you?
I'm 25, sir.
And what is your program?
My program is just to become a peak value man. Making enough money for me.
No. I mean the program you just said that the females got to get with. I'm just asking what is that? You said if they can't get with the program, you got no use for them. I'm trying to find out what the program is.
Oh, I need you to be feminine. I need you to give me moral support. I need you to be able to have intellectual conversation with me. I need to know that you look at me as your quote unquote alpha. I'm not taking anything less than that.
Okay, you've been doing that for the last 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is the benefit that a female gets or can expect to receive from getting with your program?
Protection, provision. At my point in life, intellectual conversations. Because Mr. Jason, the dating pool in my age group, they're just the women they seem lost. They seem like they're just freestyling. They're almost starved from having an intellectual conversation.
Okay. What to you would constitute a intellectual conversation, young man?
I would say what's really going on as far as within our country. Racism can be a good topic, politics, finances, just people becoming better as an individual, evolving, so to speak. The will to evolve, the will to do better.
Okay, the will to evolve and the will to do better. I'm not quite certain what that means, sir.
Evolve as a person. What you were doing at 18 years old, you shouldn't be doing at 25. What you're doing at 20, you shouldn't be doing at 28.
What should you be doing?
Striving for better. Well, for a man or for a woman?
Either one.
Doubling your income. For a woman, I would say getting some kind of degree that will hold her over as far as finances go, until she can find a man that is well suited to want to take care of that burden, so to speak.
Okay. A female to get a degree to hold her over until a man is willing to protect and provide for her. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, folks, he's only
Becoming
20.
the best version of yourself.
Folks, he's only 25, so I'm pretty sure you should be able to see where the conundrum there is. If you are telling a woman, you have to understand something. You can't sit up here and tell a woman that she needs to fend for herself until some unknown, unseen man out in the ether somewhere swings in to save her.
Yes, sir.
Which is exactly what you just described. Now, you're not thinking of it that way, but let's be very, very clear. What you're saying is you want the females to take care of themselves and just hang out until you or somebody else gets around to come in and talk to them. And what I'm saying is once you tell her get a degree, you're telling yourself, okay, get a degree so you can be in an orbiting pattern until one of us calls your number. But what you're actually doing is perpetuating the cycle of things you probably claim that you don't like. There's probably characteristics in that you claim you don't like, but that was exactly what you just told them to do. Why? Think about this logically. Why would a woman make the leap to accept you as her financial leader when you have already told her what her single mother told her? Baby, don't count on no man. Go get a degree so you can take care of yourself. And you just said, that's right. Get a degree so you can take care of yourself until we come here to take care of you.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, what you just said is the exact same advice that their moms are giving them right now. And I'm pretty sure that you meet those females and you're not happy with the results because you're like, well, she doesn't submit to anything and she wants to run everything. Well, yeah, that's what getting a degree is for.
I see what you mean, sir. As far as what the kind of women that you will surround yourself around.
Well, I'm just saying, you and her single mother cannot be saying the exact same thing and get two different results. Results that are diametrically opposed. So if what you're suggesting, if that was going to get the results you wanted, then why is her single mother bastard baby maker in the projects? Why is she saying the exact same thing to her? If it's going to get the results that you want. By that definition, all the daughters of single mothers would be great wife material. And yet that's not what we see. We see a bunch of chicks with degrees and attitudes out of this world. So there's a bit of a logical fallacy there. All right, let's move on to the next thing here. We talked about finances. Okay, that's all very interesting there, right there. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how much on top of finances can you be at 25?
I guess there's only a certain limit to that.
I mean, I don't know. When I was around that age, it was a couple $100,000 a year. I'm not going to put that on you, but that was me.
Mm-hmm.
That was me back in the 90s. So what I'm saying is, yeah, financially, where are you standing at right now?
Right now, I work at Carrier, making $20 an hour.
Okay, not bad, not fantastic either. I'm sure within the next few years, that's going to change. Not a problem at all. The point I'm trying to make to you here is that when you say, I want a female who's, getting with the program, once again, fellas have to actually know what a program is. They have to actually know what one is.
Would it help if I told you I have dated a truck driver?
Okay. You can tell me you dated an astronaut. The bottom line is they have to have a program to get with. So fellas can use those terms, but that has to mean something. That has to actually mean something. If a woman's not taking care of your children getting with the program means that she has to be doing something that is of mutual benefit to your standard. That's what get with the program means. And That would be, I would think, based on what I've heard so far, that would probably be challenging. Just having wants and desires is not a program. Having preferences is not a program. A program is a program, something that she plugs into that has responsibilities and things she's supposed to do and that have to meet your standard. That's a program. And I'm not just talking to him on the phone right now. I'm talking to all the fellas listening here live or recorded. Fellas, a program is literally that, something that she plugs into that requires her to do something that of mutual benefit to your standard, not preferences or desires. That's not a program.
Well, I've had it wrong the last couple of years then, sir.
Just understand, a lot of fellows have preferences and desires and they think that's a program. No, those are preferences and desires. And don't get me wrong, there's a place in this world for that. But at the end of the day, a woman is thinking about her interests same way you're thinking about yours, but the woman's thinking about her interests. Fellas need to make sure that they understand that you have to know, what are you doing to incentivize it? You can't, because if you have desires and there's no program, there's no incentive. Well, I just said a few minutes ago about, the sports thing. That's part of the program when you think about it. But that's a side effect of having a solid program. For example, the very thing that they said in this article, that's a bunch of bull crap about not wanting to change. That's exactly the problem. A woman, a woman is going to need you. If you have a program, then the woman has to change. If you have a program, she has to change. She's looking for someone that she can trust to make that change for her. So that's ultimately what she's looking for. Not a guy who's got desires. Every male has desires. Most don't have a program. But you know who does have a program? Her employer, her university, her college. They got a program. How about the man she's talking to?
That's a thorough program.
So I just want you to understand what the real difference is between those two. So you got some of the broad strokes there in a lot of regards. Certainly you don't want a chick who's a dummy. Yeah, that makes sense. But first and foremost, you're going to have a solidified program of your own before you can start demanding that she get with it. And here, because then what eventually will just handle is, what eventually will happen is you have a chick who gives you sex and might be cooking for you, and she will agree with your thoughts or ideas, and that's going to be about it. Because understand something.
Right. I've already experienced that, sir.
Well, it's the same thing for men that it is for women. You can't have it all. It is very unlikely that you're going to have it all. Now, it's easier for men than it is for women because we don't have this 500 bullet point laundry list. But by the same token, fellas have to understand it's very, very, very super unlikely that you can have it all. So you're going to have to decide what it is you're going to give up and sacrifice, because it's unlikely you're going to find it all in one package. That'd be great if you could, but then again, that's fantasy. So hopefully that gives you a good place to start.
Right.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 702. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. It's Val from Pennsylvania.
Hello, Val. From where at in Pennsylvania?
Pittsburgh.
All right, Val from Pittsburgh. So we know the deal. All right, Val, what's on your mind?
Well, I was told to call in because I made a comment regarding therapists. I agree with you. A lot of people go into the field and they don't do the justice for whatever reason. But I was just simply saying all therapists are not like that, which we know that.
Okay, ma'am, that's the
But
same.
I
But that's
kinda
the.
respect you.
But that is the same thing as saying all Republicans aren't racist.
I know.
So,
I know. Like I said, I put that in the chat,
it
so
is
I was told to call in.
literally a face-saving defeatist statement to even make. It literally is irrelevant Because it's like, well, what you're saying is it's not a numerical absolute. Well, you're right. It's not a numerical absolute, but you don't need 100% of the population to turn the whole society into a hell.
You're right. You're right. And some of the feedback I've gotten, and I kind of take on that duty to show different, because mental health is important, and a lot of times people are dealing with resentment and all of these other things that express itself as symptoms of depression and anxiety. And sometimes they just need a mirror held up to themselves and be called out. And I think it's
but in society today, wouldn't you say that women have been encouraged to do exactly the opposite?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So what good is therapy when you have a society which includes the therapists who preach that you should be happy no matter what, that first of all, you don't have to change and you should be happy. Okay, well, if they come in there and tell me my relationship makes me unhappy because I won't change. Ooh, you need to leave. So do you see where the problem is?
No, I do. And I think that as on a societal level, that's what you're facing. Like, that majority is what the conversation is about. Like, I look at that video of that young lady that posted who does ballerina for young girls. I mean, you could tell she was truly emotionally hurt by those 5-year-olds asking to listen to Pound Town. Like, but that's where we're at in society. And there needs to be a major combat of that. And sadly, there's a few of us out here who will call that out. But I think overall, hopefully those things are changed.
But the therapist community is at the spear point of promoting these things. It's the therapists who are telling the women this. If the therapists were speaking with a unified voice, even as a majority in the opposite direction, we would not be seeing the results that we do now. The therapists are not sitting up here complaining that the women are out here being adamant and unaccountable. The therapists are sitting up here saying, "Oh, the men need to change." And let's be very, very clear: the majority of these therapists are women. And I gotta tell y'all, I know a lot of therapists. I do. Most of them are screwed up. Some of them are not, but most of them are. As I've been saying this now for over a decade. They don't need to be talking to other people on the couch. They need to be on the couch themselves.
You're right. You're right.
I can't think of a single psychology major or graduate that I know of who is not swimming in a lake of debt. Now, you might find one or two that got their debts forgiven, but they got them forgiven. They didn't pay them off. I literally can't think of a single person, a single woman who has been to school and got a psychology degree who was not swimming in debt. Not a single one. Can you?
No.
Now, isn't that interesting? So I'm from Louisiana and you're from Pittsburgh by way of Las Vegas. And yet we both have the same testimony. Now, how can that be?
Well, I think that boils down to the difference and, of course, the number one thing, upbringing, what was instilled. I think a lot of that contributes to what we're seeing today, and that's just where we're at, sadly. And hopefully, like you said, the minority can speak up and change how things are going. Because right now, it's really bad, and especially when you look at the field of mental health, but when you look at some of the reasoning behind why people are so flustered, it's because, for one, they won't look at how their actions and what they've done has contributed to where they're at and taking accountability. And moving from that, like you said, just kind of sticking your head in the sand and, oh, well, if I don't know what's happening. No, it happened. And you need to kind of deal with that or it's going to impact other areas of your life.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody is willing and eager to acknowledge that the medical profession has been overrun by a bunch of doctors and practitioners who operate more like drug dealers than practitioners of real medicine. It's long past time that we took a look at the so-called mental health profession. And I'm not just talking about in America, I mean around the world, since actually around the world is an offshoot of, well, really by way of Germany, but the rest of the world is that we need to take a look at that the same way, that we have a bunch of mental health professionals who operate more like a political profit center than mental health professionals. We have doctors who operate more like drug dealers trying to make a profit, and we have so-called mental health professionals who operate more like cashiers at Walmart than like mental health professionals. They're just trying to grab as much money as they can, as many people as they can, and they are not being judged or held accountable for their outcomes. They're not.
Right.
Because here's the thing.
You're right.
If you are a couples counselor, your ratings should not come from the women who come to see you. Your ratings should come from the men they got to live with. Those should be the guys, those should be the people who tell folk how good you are at what you do. Not the person coming to pay you, but the one that the person coming to pay you has to live with, because they're having to live with the results of that. Did they meet a real therapist who is willing to call you out? Let's try this a different way. If a man went to go see a therapist and he was talking about how he loves sleeping with prostitutes and he wished his wife could be more like the prostitutes, the female therapist isn't going to sit there and say, well, let's see if we can get him to work his way through this. I'm not going to challenge him. Let's see if we can get him to come to the accurate conclusion on his own. She's not going to do that. She's going to call him sick. She's going to call him a deviant. She's going to say, you should expect that from a woman. That's what she's going to say to him. In other words, he's not going to be given that rigmarole. A female can walk in there and say, I don't see why in the world these fellas don't let me just run things and I can have 5 or 6 bastard kids. But that's legit. That's legit and that's okay. And that doesn't get challenged at all. That she walks in and walks out with the same thing. The doctors don't do that. So that's what I'm saying. There's a reason why, I've named it before, Ilyana Van Zandt and Dr. Phil, there's a reason why they got the followings they do, the clientele that they do. You notice their way of dealing with people is far different. Far different from what you usually see. Well, guess what? They're not strapped for money. The other 99% in their so-called profession, they're out here living on bread and water. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 803. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 803. You're on live.
Hi, Jason.
Okay, ma'am. You can stop rubbing yourself down. You're on live. What is your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, my name is Connie. I'm calling from Columbia, South Carolina.
All right, Connie from Columbia. What is on your mind?
Yes, I actually was told to call in, I guess because I just asked the question, like, I don't know if you're expecting these women to not have had a life when they're meeting and dating. I get that, but that's just going to be hard to find in this day and time. These women are going to have lives. They're going to have experiences. Hopefully they don't have too many experiences. But that's just what, the modern world is going to give the guy. If he's expecting to get a girl that's coming directly from her parents' home, a good church girl, a good girl who hasn't experienced the world, good luck with that. I just don't think that that's realistic.
Okay. Now, to everyone out there who usually says, Jason, let him talk, let him talk. I let her talk. I didn't interrupt what she had to say. I let her express her entire thoughts, so therefore, no one can accuse any of us of taking it out of context. Now, to prove to you all that I listened to what she said, you're looking for women who haven't lived their lives. They haven't had a life. And, they're going to live their lives and they're going to have experiences. You notice how all these folk, from this Iovine woman who wrote these articles to eHarmony, the Bumble, to the woman on the phone now, you notice how they speak in these real vague metaphors and generalities that don't really mean anything, and you're not really describing what the activity is. You're just using these real weird, wacky, way out terms. So when you say we don't want a woman who's lived life or a woman who's had experiences, when you say they've lived in their life, what does that, a woman who's had a life, what does having a life mean?
Perhaps she's had a boyfriend.
One boyfriend?
And they've gotten physical. Yes, she's having a boyfriend. You know, nobody expects to jump from guy to guy.
Okay, ma'am. How many? Okay, man. You just said one boyfriend. One. Who are the men? And when have I ever expressed that I had a problem with a woman who had one boyfriend? Who said that?
Well, you didn't say that.
Okay, but you just did. But you just did. And you just claimed that that's what I meant. So I made sure I got you to clarify there. One boyfriend, nobody has an issue with one boyfriend. So is that what you're referring to as a chick who's only had one boyfriend? Do we got a problem with that?
Maybe she's had a couple of boyfriends.
Okay, by a couple, do you literally mean a couple, which is two?
2, 3, 4. Maybe she's had 4. I don't know.
Okay, so do you think that we as men have a problem with a woman who has had 4 boyfriends in her entire adult life?
Not 4. No.
Okay, then
probably not 4.
Y'all, do you see how we're walking this down? She started by saying, y'all, Jill, you don't want a woman who had a life. What's having a life? Oh, she's had a boyfriend, a as in one. Yeah. You think we have a problem with 1? Well, maybe 2. You think we have a problem with 2? Maybe 4. Ma'am.
Well, you tell me what's the problem number, Jason?
No, ma'am, no. You tell me. What do you think our problem number is?
It depends on her age.
Okay. Please answer the question. You said it depends on her age. Give us an example then.
So if she's 25, then if she's had maybe I say no more than maybe 4 or 5 at 25. 4 or 5 boyfriends that she's been physical with. She's still okay.
If she's 25 and she's had 4 or 5 boyfriends.
Yes.
Okay. That means 1 boyfriend every 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see an issue with that?
No, I don't.
So she changes boyfriends with the lunar calendar. Doesn't that seem like that's a sign of a problem?
I don't think so, Jason.
Okay, okay. Now you said you don't see a problem here. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, let's not do that. Let's not do that. You hear the host talking. Let's not do that. Bad look for you. Now, you just said you did not see a problem. Okay, fine. If a woman was changing her major in college every year, would you see that as a problem?
Well, you only have 4 years total.
Okay,
school,
ma'am,
so
that's a yes or a no. No, ma'am, you have the rest of your life. Yes, you have the rest of your life, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, let's not tell that lie. Let's not tell that lie. You have the rest of your life to go to college, so you basically can change majors for for the remainder of your days. So let's not tell
No,
that
but you
lie.
only get into college once.
No, ma'am,
mean,
you can go.
one-
Ma'am, people go back to school all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but at that time you're wasting money. So,
Okay,
yeah, so
well, assuming, of course, you have the budget to be able to afford that, you can change majors every year. But we wouldn't consider that to be a very stable person now, would we?
I disagree.
So you think that a stable person would change majors every year?
I think life is lifing, especially when it comes to jobs. I mean, you don't even need a college degree right now if you want to do apples to apples and oranges to oranges. I mean,
ma'am, if you had a person who changed jobs every year, ma'am, if you had a person who changed jobs every year, would that, ma'am, we don't talk over the host. That's your second time doing that. I suggest you catch yourself. If you have a person who changes jobs every year, would you consider that to be a problem?
Every year, yes.
But why would that be a problem?
Because they're unstable.
How does that demonstrate instability?
But it's not to say that they can't get.
Okay, how does changing jobs every year indicate instability?
How does it indicate that? Because you're changing and you're never getting grounded in anything.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 51.
Of course you are. How many children do you have?
I have 2.
Of course you do. How many husbands do you have?
I have 1, but I'm getting ready to get married again in February.
If you don't quit. In any case, folks, the reason why I asked that was because I understand something. The lie comes off, the curtain comes off the lies when you ask that question there, because you see, as a female, when they're depending on a man to take care of them, then by definition, a man whose employment is that spotty, that erratic, that unstable, that he can't keep a job more than 12 months. Well, then by definition, that's the definition of instability. So you see, for the things that she depends on in her life, all of a sudden, you man need to step it up. All of a sudden, she's not tolerant of it. But when you asked about her or something that she centers on for herself, well, things can change and life change. And she didn't give the job situation can alter. Yeah, because she would suffer the consequences of a man who cannot keep stable employment. But when it comes to women's instability, sexually, socially, she was given passes right up until I named the one that affects her directly. Then all of a sudden, wait, now that's unstable. There's no difference between the job and the school and your sexual habits. There's no difference. Someone who cannot be grounded over the course of 12 months, they're constantly jumping from one thing to another. They have a pattern that goes on half a decade. You said between 20 and 25 years old. That's half a decade of the only thing they are consistent at is being unstable. Because by definition, you're supposed to get over that.
And they don't know anything, Jason. They gotta find their way. All of them.
And I'm saying that listening to you, they have found their way. They found their way to Slutville. So yes, they certainly have found their way.
So the guys who do that, the men, the young men
deflection,
that do the same thing,
deflection,
are they sluts
deflection.
as well?
This is how you know you're dealing with the old chicks. Deflection. Accountability means that the conversation starts on you and stays on you. Deflection is, well, let's talk about the men's issues. This is why young females can't go to therapists. The older women become therapists. This is why, I'm so glad you called in, Exhibit A. This is why the young females get messed up and never get better. This is what the old females do. It is always deflection, including the ones who pretend to be red pill and give manosphere talking points. They're no different. They think they found a cheat code. So yeah, she's deflecting already. What about the men? No. We're going to stay talking about the women, because the only thing that you can control in this world, Connie, is what?
Yourself.
Oh, so that's why we don't deflect. Because by definition, you're trying to change the subject to something you have absolutely no control over. So we're going to discuss the thing you do have control over. And Connie, you do have control over whether or not you are erratic and you hop from one man's bed to another every year. As you get older, you're supposed to be becoming more stable in life, aren't you, Connie?
Absolutely, Jason. It takes time for these little flaky little children that we have out here now. They don't get it the first time around. None of them do. The little boys are doing the same thing.
Okay, you're the one who called in saying that Jason has a problem because there are women who have had a life. So that you would be included among the people encouraging that. You just said a few moments ago that was having a life. Then I just said, okay, how many men you guys sleep with to have a life? And then she said, well, I think one every year between the ages of 20 and 25. I think that's fine. And that's actually disastrous.
So how do you think it should go? Do you think these little girls should be chased and with all this crap that's on the internet and their little friends? Is that realistic? Okay,
let's try this a different way. Forget the internet altogether. We're talking about basic female nature. Can a woman have a parade? Does having sex do something to a woman? Does having sex have an impact on a woman's? Does having sex have an impact on a woman's self-esteem, worldview, mental and emotional state?
I would say it does. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I was waiting for you to try to lie and say it doesn't, because I was about to say Cassie just filed a $30 million lawsuit.
No,
and
not to the point.
It had an effect on her.
That she can't handle it and she's nutting up behind it.
No, ma'am.
Not
having sex has an impact on women's mental and emotional state. By definition, it must have an impact on it. You would never sit up here and tell your daughter that she could have sex with as many men as she wants to, and it will not affect her mental and emotional state. You wouldn't say that to her, would you?
Of course not.
Of course. Now, do you all see how certain she is now? Before, she's trying to act like she equivocates, and this is why the young females can't get nothing. The older females are supposed to be this certain when they talk to them. The older females are giving them half answers and misleading. A woman having sex with a man means something, because sex is a submissive act. That is an act where you have to be very trusting. I keep reminding you all, as the woman said in the second season of True Detective, the key difference between the sexes is that one can kill the other with their bare hands. You are a woman. A woman is vulnerable when she's having sex. Sexual contact is a state of ultimate vulnerability for a woman, because by definition, there is nothing more vulnerable than you being alone, butt naked in a room with someone twice as big, twice as strong, and twice as able to harm you. That's the very definition of vulnerable. Therefore, a woman's considerations during sex are different than a man's. It requires far more of a level of trust and security than a man does. As a man, I worry about a number of things. If I'm alone with a female, being strangled to death, except for two of them broads, is not one of them. I'm not worried that I made sure she has no weapons on her and that she's going to do something to me with her bare hands. That's how vulnerable I am. That's not something a man has to think about. That's something a female has to think about every single time. Or at the very least, that If she decides that this encounter is not going to the way she would like it to, then she can say, yeah, I'm not liking what you're doing here, P. Diddy. Let me go ahead and leave. And then he grabs your wrist. Where do you think you're going? Now, you see, that situation goes markedly different for a woman than it does for a man. So a woman cannot open herself up, throw her legs open, and anybody and everybody do that, and her mental and emotional state stay intact. Every time that she has to have this mental, emotional letting down of her guard, that speaks to her value. Because here comes the last issue. Does sex have value with a woman? I'm asking you, Connie, does having sex with a woman have value?
It does.
How much?
Women
how much?
Get very attached.
No. I'm asking how much value is it to have sex with a woman? What's the value of it?
90%.
Interesting. So in other words, if you're going to sit here and say that sexual contact for a female is extremely valuable and extremely important, then can it be extremely important to 20 men?
It should be. I don't know.
No, ma'am. No. I'm saying that if a woman throws her legs open to a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen men, you just said that sex is very valuable and very important when it comes to a female. Having sex with her is very important. It's not something trivial. Great. So in other words, if a chick done had one dude every year, the sexual contact was important with all of them. Every year she has a new dude, and it has the same value of importance with all of them?
Well, Jason, I want to say it should, but
how is that possible? How is that possible?
Because the women actually take a playbook from a man.
Okay, but no, man, that's different.
Been able to tune that part out.
Okay, but that's the problem. No. Sex cannot be the same for women and men because men and women are different. I've already explained what those differences are. You claim you're getting married soon. Although with the way you're talking right now, it's like, when I told you before, I'm skeptical of that. This is what I mean. She says she's getting married soon, and yet the man who, I'm assuming it's a man who wants, is it a man who wants to marry you?
Definitely.
Okay. I'm assuming it's a man. By the way, would you tell him that I've had sex with, I'm 50 years old. I've had sex with a different man every year for the last decade, but the sex is really important with you. It wasn't very important with those other 10, 12 dudes. But now that you want to marry me, sex with me is important when you're doing it. Now, it wasn't important with those other dozen men over the last decade, but with you, your sex with me is important. When you have sex with me, trust me, it's 90% important now that it's you. With the other 12, the importance was 10%. But when you have sex with me, just remember, it has 90% importance to me now. Do you think your fiance would go with that?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, then how in the hell are you going to tell a 22-year-old male that he should go for that?
I get what you're saying. I hear you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. I told you fellas here that we will get your files updated for you.
Join me, and I will complete your training.
Let me get over here on Zoom. Let me see if I can get my man Cadario up here on the Flex. He's working on getting his things together there. All right. All right, Brother Cadario, what's on your mind?
Hey, man. That last call was like dying. Hey, I had to go get some caffeine, man. It's almost 9:30 in Nashville, man. I'm like, how we got to protect y'all at all costs, man, the black media, because what if we have these type of women teaching the younger women right now, and I'm like, I'm tripping out, man. Like, what is going on? I mean, between this article and then that last conversation, bro. Like,
I mean, this is who's mentoring the young women. If y'all want to know why the young women are so screwed off, she's 50-something years old. She's concerned about, can she get one more ride at the bite at the apple to go find a protector and provider for herself. And as she's getting closer to safety for herself, she is defending the young females. Man, just slut it up. Do what you're going to do. So I'm saying is that speaks to her mental state, getting with the man she's going to be with. Hey, fella, you better watch out, because this is the attitude she's bringing, which is female privilege. And what I'm saying is, a man can't feel like a man, not as women, when it comes to sex, they got to be 100% invested whether they wish to be or not.
Right.
When a woman has, I just explained why it was, when a woman has sex, she's got to be 100% invested whether she wishes to be or not. Because there are going to be things that potentially are or will be beyond your control. As a man, when it comes to commitment and romance and relationships, we have to see it the same way. We are as vulnerable in a relationship as a female is during intercourse. The amount of damage that can be done to us is unlimited. It's unlimited. And the deeper we go, the more perilous it becomes. So we can't see that as a trivial thing. We have to treat it with that type of importance. Well, guess what? When you get with a female, you're not just with her, you're with her body count. You're with her attitude towards sex, because her attitude towards sex is her attitude toward men. Let me say that again, folks. Don't listen to somebody sitting up here trying to lie their ass off to you. A woman's attitude towards sex is her attitude toward men. That is it. So the question isn't, is she going to sleep with you or not? The question is, why is she going to do it, or why is she not going to do it? That's the real question. And if you get to the bottom of that, that's going to tell you what type of female you are with, who's going to be raising your children, who's going to have access to your bank account. If you are sick in the hospital, who is going to be helping you and who ain't going to give a damn about you. Those are the things you need to check for before you get down the road that far. Her attitude towards sex tells you what her attitude toward men is. Folk keep trying to gaslight us as men and tell us, that ain't mean nothing there. No, a woman's attitude towards sex is her attitude toward men. If men are easily interchangeable, if men invading her body is something she can just shake off, then don't be surprised when she marries you and she's still sleeping with other dudes and she's like, meh, it's not that serious. And you like, I'll be damned, I've married you, it's damn serious now. And she's looking at you like, what, really? Yeah. Like Joe Smith's wife. Oh well, I mean, is it that serious?
Man. And I think that's what another thing that you said earlier. I mean, that's why they call you the authority when you were talking about a woman, like even with the sports analogy, because that's why I was telling you, and I hit you on Patreon. I was like, I was seeing all the things that was required of me, and I'm like, by the way, you're not invested. She's not invested, and I'm like, okay, well. And that's what I was going to ask you earlier, like when you said about, nobody's going to be perfect, you're not going to get everything, but on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank a woman's ability to gravitate towards your interests as a man? Where would you rank that in level of importance in terms of how much, like how competent men should value? How much should we value that?
I'm going to say that's on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that at least, I mean, as far as desirability, I'm going to give that at least an 8.
Jesus, damn.
I'm going to give that at least, because that's going to determine her level of commitment. Fellas, you're thinking about things the wrong way because you've been taught and conditioned and bullied into trying to abandon the markers that show that a female is really committed to you. You've been bullied into trying to give those up and abandon them and ignore them. Look at a woman's level of sacrifice, and I will show you her level of commitment to you. Show me what she is giving up for you, and I will show you her level of passion and commitment for you. If a woman is passionate about you, she starts throwing things away and starts giving up things quickly. If she's not, she's telling you I ain't gonna change. She's telling you about what she's not gonna do. This is why, as ugly as it might seem, this is reality. If a female ain't willing to fist fight over you, she doesn't love you. I meant it. I said it. It will never change. If a female ain't ready to ball up her fists over you, she does not love you. And as a man, I can show you that what I'm saying is the truth. If I showed you that chick told you that with her ex, you got her on video walking up to other chicks' houses, rolling up her sleeves, putting Vaseline on her face, taking off her earrings, and smacking broads and dragging them across the front yard over that guy. Shout out Future. And then she gets with you and she tells you from day one, I would never fight a female over you.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Now, do you see how that struck you? Oh, I would never do that for you. And now, as a man, you're making a logical connection. The society's tried to gaslight you into ignoring. Logically, you're like, wait a minute, but I know you would do it for somebody. I saw you do it for him. So what's the difference? Now, she's going to try to mislead you and say, well, I'm a different person today. People don't change, brother. What she's saying is that I feel differently about you.
Yeah.
You don't ignite that for me. Because passion is uncontrollable. Passion isn't something that you make a conscious decision over. Just like with men, that's why when they sit up here, they take. I show them the twerking pictures and stuff. Hey, you have a physiological reaction. You have no choice in the matter. When you see a female and she built the right way, that's biological. That's not something consciously that you got to work for and, let me think it over. And, no. If she's built the right way, you have no choice in the matter. Strap in, you going for the ride. Strap in, my nigga, you going for the ride. Well, guess what? When women emotions, it's the same thing. She doesn't have control over that. If you are hitting the right buttons, she's going along for the ride. So the other thing is, a man is supposed to teach her and educate her. So the things that she doesn't know about life, guess what? That's yours. So when a woman is truly passionate about you, she wants to dig into you. She wants to see what you are about from stem to stern. She wants you to take her to new places. And she's going to be interested in those things because I've said this before. A man's commitment to children is no stronger than his commitment to the woman. Well, guess what? A woman's interest in a man's interest is no stronger than her interest in him. A woman's interest in a man's life is no stronger than her interest in him. So if she is really interested in you, all of a sudden, it's go Saints. You know why? Because you're different. It's like, okay, the last nigga was a wet blanket. You got that swag about you. You got that demeanor about you. She likes that. So everything you do, she starts liking it. Right. Because now it's somebody, she's like, ask, what's the difference between Kadario and the last dude? It's like, well, he was better when he did that. He had more fun with it. The other fellow was just mean. It's just that Kadario's comfortable in his own skin. She loves it about him. And so everything that he's comfortable with, all of a sudden she's eating it up. Now that's making an imprint that she admires you. And so when a woman admires a man, the things that he likes become the things that she likes. This is why biracials are so dangerous. Jason, are you going to go there? I'm going there with roller skates on. Do you hear me?
And deal with it, nigga.
Folks,
hey, go.
I'm just saying, it's just, you can go find the most wannabe Becky biracial you ever met. Dude, if you 10 toes down your masculinity and you're pro-black, she gonna come in with the beret and the black fist and the glove. And next thing you know, she is turning to Betty Shabazz. Next thing you know, she's Kathleen Cleaver. Next thing you know, she's digging your swag. And so what I'm saying is that becomes irresistible. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
So if you have a female who you're not making an imprint on, you're not making an impression on, she's not molding and forming. The woman you're meeting is the product of molding and forming by at least one man, and maybe more than one. But that's a product of her interest in those men. Her more molding for you or lack thereof, that's a product of her interest in you too.
Yeah. Hey man, you could have saved me the last 2 years, man. You could have saved me 2 years.
Well, it's all just a part of growing up, as Houdini says.
Hey, but I was gonna say this last little part, man, is when you say R.I.P. to relationships 2024, I'm starting to see that's definitely the case for me, unfortunately. But help me understand this: why is it that we're assholes when we don't bend, and when we have a purpose and we have an agenda?
But that's a good thing.
Oh, I know that. But I'm saying, why are we assholes?
Well, you mean as an empirical fact, or why are we considered that way?
Consider that, not an empirical fact. I mean,
I guess it depends on who it is, who's doing the consideration. Men, women, employees.
Well, no. It's never like guys in my circle or business or anything that's like. It's never like that. It's usually just from a dating perspective.
Well, okay. Well, when it comes to anybody's considerations, period in life, especially when it's negative or critiquing or criticizing, whatever, the only thing I ask myself is, do I want to be like them? Because if I'm going to only listen to your judgment to the extent that I want to be like you. So if you're somebody I want to be like, I'm all ears. If I would never want to be like you, let me fall back on that, because listening to you can only do one thing: make me like you. Well, what if I don't want to be like you? Okay, let me in one ear, and actually, it didn't even make it in one ear. It's got the Spartan shield up. But the other thing is, I want men to get, especially at this age, too many fellas have been raised by mama's boys. They've been raised as mama's boys by hoes and hood rats, and they've been conditioned to think that their job is to be liked.
Right.
And the little moist dude who's trying to be the male feminist, he wants to be liked, and that's his dating strategy, being liked. And you and I both know what the women think of him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, she quote unquote likes you, but you don't submit to someone you like. You submit to someone you respect. Mm-hmm. So, fella, you're winning the popularity contest and you're losing the respect contest. Case in point, brother, you and I both been running through enough money to see that females love you when you show up throwing dollars. I mean, you can see the look on their face, or big ass grin. There's Cadario. Yeah. They'll come running across the room. Hey, boo.
Walking out Neiman Marcus with the Christian Louboutin.
Well, no. Before they even get that far, as long as they know that's in the offing, they don't even have to get to the purse. As long as they know you that dude. Yeah. Here they come smiling, skinning, grinning. They loving you, bruh. And I'm just saying, this is one of those things where folks say, when I was sitting on top, everybody loved me. As soon as I lost it, I didn't have no friends. Dude, you didn't have any friends to begin with.
Yeah.
You didn't tell the difference between folks who like you versus folks who respect you. Folks who like you, there's something that you can give them. Folks who respect you, they want you for who you are. They will respect you for who you are, not for what you can give them. Now you got something that transcends money. When a woman is with a tried and true masculine alpha type male, she respects having that. Because he's got something of value that transcends money. Money is nice, but money without those attributes is useless. That's why they want to divorce you, so they can separate you from your resources, because that's what she came for. A fella who's built, when a woman doesn't respect you, she fights to get your money. When a woman respects you, she fights over you. Money not required. So that's why that if she don't ball up her fists, she's saying, I'm not fighting for you. I'm fighting for what I can get. I'm fighting for what you got. I'm fighting what I can have. But if she wants you, she knucking up over you. Just you. She's mad. You see that look in her eyes. She is very, very upset. And it's not because you ain't spent enough money. She's like, how dare you do X, Y, Z? Oh, this is over you. She's like, oh, this ain't about money. This is deeper than that. Dude, that's it. That's what you're looking for. That is commitment. Yeah. That is complete and total commitment. You've made an impression. She's sitting up here with a damn closet full of Saints jerseys. And sitting up here with shoes that are, your color. You all know for me, you can guess what my favorite color is. But she's got shoes, everything in the closet is your color. It's that imprint. That's one of the things you should look for. Did her closet change Take a look at her wardrobe in her closet. Did that damn thing change? Take a look at the colors she was wearing before you came in the picture. Take a look at the ones she got now. There's all kinds of signs you can look for that will show you that if she sees you as somebody that she admires, i.e. looks up to, she gonna start changing the style to match yours.
Yeah.
And she will do it gleefully.
Right? And being proactive about it, right? You don't have to necessarily tell her.
No, she's looking for it.
Right.
She's looking for it on her own. Now, there'll be some chicks who don't have a lot of experience, but the other thing is if you lead them in that direction, once they get going, they don't have to say anything else. So even if you have to start them on it, eventually they become self-directed. You got a chick who's still dressing the way she was 8 years ago. Nigga, read the room. Read the room. She's dressed for another dude. He made an impression. She likes that. You have not made the same impression. She's tolerating you. She's accepting it. Watch out for a female who talks about a male in grateful terms for quote unquote what he does for me, as opposed to passionate terms about who and what he is. Those are the things y'all need to watch out for. When you watch social media, all these chicks talking about, I'm so glad I got a man, he bought me a house, he take care of me, feed me, pay all my bills. Okay, that's dude, she likes you, but she doesn't respect you.
Yeah.
She doesn't respect you because respect wouldn't be saying that. Guess what, fellas? Women pay for what they respect. The dollars mean the same thing for her that it means for you. You got a chick, all money in, no money out. Okay. She's showing you. I've covered this here before. When the chick is digging you, she buys her own plane ticket. She buys her own. She's like, nigga, let me go ahead and buy my own stuff here because we'll get this done faster. I'm trying to get to you.
Right.
I'm not going to let you sit up here and bull jive and stall around about tickets and restaurants and hotels. I'm coming to see you. No, you do not have to lift a finger. I'm coming to see you. I will pay for that. She starts telling you about what she ain't going to do. She's telling you it ain't there.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst thing that a man can do is ignore that because then now you're starting to compromise and you're telling yourself, well, she'll grow to like me. Okay. She'll grow to get there. No, she won't. No, she won't. A lot of fellas out there to this day holding out, hoping and waiting. Please. But every man recognizes the same thing. You know why? Because as men, we ain't going to raise our fist about a female that we're not passionate about.
Right, real talk.
We're not going to do it. Why? Because you're putting yourself in harm's way. You're risking life and limb. That means the same thing for a female. A female is not going to risk life and limb for a man she doesn't respect. For a man that she needs and is committed to, sacrifice, she's going to risk life and limb. And she's not going to think twice about it. You're going to be like, wow, I've never seen her do that before. Yeah, that's passion. Fellas are not used to that today. They're trying to be liked. Meanwhile, they're not respected. So, no, we can be jerks.
Okay. I was about to say, I ain't definitely ain't apologizing about it, but I'm just kind of curious.
Now, please, let's be very clear now.
They don't respect the simps.
Well, look, there's a difference. There's a difference between being hardline and being rude.
Right.
I'm a lot of things. I'm not an impolite person unless you get on my phone talking stupid. But I'm not an impolite person, so I'm just saying it's everybody knows. Folks sometimes get upset with me. I have folks who go on the phone, they're disrespectful or whatever, and I say ma'am, sir. You all hear me say that all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't change from that. So there's a difference between being hardline or being firm versus being rude and impolite. Those are two separate things. So the real thing is folks are trying to see how much they can get from us. They've been dealing with weak dudes so long that they meet us and all of a sudden, okay, let me squeeze you. And then they realize you don't bend.
Yeah. That's what I'm noticing, that they're using, I don't know if monosyllabic is a correct term to use to describe it, but they're using the same skill sets of dudes that they're used to over here. And I'm like, and then they'll treat you as if you were doing the same things the way that the dudes that they're used to.
Well, they're testing you.
And I'm like, so that's why I was kind of, like I said, it's nothing about being rude. I don't, I don't raise my voice and things like that. I don't call, people or women out of name and things like that. But when you're stern and you, like you said, when you talk firm like that, all of a sudden you're an asshole. You're, being disrespectful even without using profanity. And it's still, they're not used to that level of, I don't know, the tone, I guess. Or
well, the thing is, as men, it's our job to set the tone. We have benefits and there's penalties. Our job is to make it clear what those two things are, because her function when she gets with the program is to make our lives easier, not to become a complication. We didn't bring you here to be a complication. If I'm going to make your life easier, you're supposed to be here making mine easier. If I got yours going more smoothly, you're supposed to be having mine go more smoothly. Okay. That doesn't mean we have to go more smoothly about the same things, but that's the deal. That's the program. And if you're here and things are getting rougher and harder and it's not easier, it's like, wow, why in the world did I ever leave old girl?
Right.
X's and O's.
Hey man, can I ask you one last question though? When we getting the dark arts again? When we getting? Is there going to be another? On the Patreon, are we going to get another lesson on that or a chapter on that?
You're probably going to be getting one here in the next month or so, because really, now here's the thing I want you all to understand. It's not an infinite thing. I'm not entertainment. I know sometimes I can be entertaining. I know. It's not entertainment. This isn't a place where you have to come here for the rest of your life. I've distilled it down. These are simple rules. Yep. And then the next thing is you go out and you execute them. You use them. And then you learn, because I mean, when I say you're not going to learn in the classroom, you're going to learn in the field. Mm-hmm. It's not enough for Jason to have this. You got to get out there and you use it. And then you're going to have to use it in your own way. You can't use it the same way I do, because you're not me and I'm not you. What works for me will work for you, but it's not going to work the same for you, most likely. So because I'm not the one talking. You're the one talking. You're the one who has to deliver it. So therefore, if you're going to incorporate it into your life, you have to incorporate it. But the dark arts, like I say, it's not some laundry list of things. It really, really isn't. It's not some lifetime thing, because the problem is, if it goes on forever, that means you can never actually master it. No, these are things that you can master. You get this down, that's it. Go live it. You're going to learn it. It's like, oh, really? Is that easy? No, it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. So it's not that complex, brother. You got those, and that's it. Now, in light of Diddy and some of what's going on over there, the only parts about, for those of you who are not members of Patreon, you don't know what the dark arts are. But the situation with Diddy is a quintessential example of the dark arts. Those are the dark arts. He's got the status. He got the swag. He's got the appeal. This chick who was with a fella already, and Diddy was like, oh, she coming with me. She coming with me. Right, wrong, or otherwise, not only is she coming with me, he got the pimp eye on her. Dude, she is a stomp down, 10 toes super thought, and she gonna be doing it all for me before it's over. So what I'm saying is that, once again, dark arts right now, I don't have to do a program called Dark Arts. When I tell y'all it's the dark arts, I'm doing it right now. When I talked about a woman being taught, that's what I mean by being taught too. That you show her things she didn't think she was capable of, or you gave her a safe space to pursue what she already wanted to do in the first place. That you're the first guy who everybody sees her as some cute faced little nice girl, and she doesn't want to be a cute faced little nice girl. She doesn't actually want that. She wants the guy who will let her explore all those sides of herself. The other fellas are sitting here treating her like a princess. She's like, no, I'm looking for the fella who's going to treat me like a ride or die. I'm looking for him. And then she met the one who saw that and said, oh, you going to ride and die, right? You going to do that. You going to do that from sea to shining sea. You going to do it. And the bottom line is, if he's the only one who's like, yeah, if she's sitting there like, all these guys treat me like I'm fragile, and I'm not fragile. And then you meet the one fella who's like, yeah, she's not fragile. She's looking for a fella who understands that. I'm the one who understands it. That's the fella she's going to stick with, because he's walking in the door showing her my value is more than yours. You have to keep up with me. I don't have to keep up with you. On account of the fact that I'm going to transform your life, you got to keep up with me. You're going to learn things over here. Now, we saw some of the things she was learning. But what I'm saying is, women are looking for that too. They are looking for a man who can teach them the good, the bad, and the grotesque. Because guess what? You're taking her places she has not been. She's seeing things she hasn't seen. And that is why I do not believe that her I do not wish anything bad on anybody, but that's why I'm skeptical that her relationship can last now, because she is still involved with the last man who actually showed her anything. And the man she's with now has failed to take her to a new place. And she's showing you, I would just as soon go risk being in a courtroom with this man for the next 5 or 6 years. Yeah, I'll do that. Well, I'm just saying, if it was so damn uncomfortable, you wouldn't want to be sitting up here subjected to that. You know, Diddy's going to keep you in court for a decade.
Yeah.
If you've already moved on, you've already moved on. She's like, nah, after 5 years, I can go back like it's nothing. Obviously, she's missing something over there.
Yeah.
So,
man,
a woman's looking to learn. She learned things with Diddy. You tell me, with her little personal trainer, do you think she's going to the Mandarin Oriental and the IHG in every state, in Miami and Dubai? Do you think she's doing that with him? Do you think that she's learning from him that, by the way, here's a website where we can call up male strippers or whatever? You went from talking about that to they got on speed dial.
Yeah.
We got catering. We wear cars like shoes. Do you think that she gonna learn that from him? So I'm just saying, don't let this game she's playing now fool you. Every woman is looking for a man who can give that type of novelty. And she doesn't want you to be nice. She wants you to be real. Because she wants to know that this is really who you are and this is authentic, not that you're being a phony. Now that is what she would not respect.
Right.
I'll let you have the last word.
Man, that's all I got. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to our next patron meeting and next broadcast. And thanks again, man, for everything you do.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get over here on the phone lines here. Caller from area code 310. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. This is TJ out of Los Angeles.
All right, TJ out of Los Angeles. What's on your mind?
So, yeah, I just wanted to come and add a little bit of evidence to what you were saying earlier in regards to how different today's woman is from the past. And the evidence that I've seen is in the adult film industry, where early on in the 90s and early 2000s, there was very little variety. You kind of had to deal with what you got, versus today, where you have almost anything that you want and you can get it for free. It's just, in order for that to be possible, there have to be so many women participating in that industry to provide that variety. And the variety is through the roof today. So that means we have a participation level that we really haven't seen before. And that bears out with the information that you gave earlier in the broadcast.
Well,
so
when you refer to the porn industry, what are you referring to?
Meaning the quality of the actress, right? Used to be
right.
Right.
But let me make sure I'm specific here so that I know we're comparing apples to apples and not taking what you're saying out of context. When you refer to the porn industry, what exactly are you referring to exactly?
The variety and quality of
right. But when you say the porn industry, what industry are you referring to, sir?
Oh, the sex industry, the sex porn industry.
The sex porn industry. What is that?
The XXX movie.
Okay, then the adult film industry is what you're referring to.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, he finally got going there, folks. All right. The reason why I was asking that is because I want us to be specific. Because there's a difference between the organized adult film industry versus something like OnlyFans or some renegade chick on Snapchat or Instagram. There's a difference between those two. Much less some chick who's out here, thotting it up and just hit my pager number or something. So you're referring to like legitimate porn stars on film for Hustler Video and West Coast Productions and things like that.
No. I am talking about, like, I would say platforms like Pornhub, like the ones where you can upload. You have amateurs who are uploading it, like the YouTubes of the
right. Well, I'll put those together as well. The porn websites. So sure, they're independent pornography, creators. Sure. I'll put them together with that, as opposed to just some chick clout chasing on OnlyFans or something like that. So I would put those two together in that regard. I would separate OnlyFans from it. And the reason I would is because these are really just hobbyists, as opposed to people who this is their profession and they plan on making a 30, 40-year run of it. There's a reason why Joe Smith's wife is still doing what she's doing. She actually never left the business.
I would say this. There are people who are contributing amateur video who are keeping their identity hidden. So when I say that you get variety and quality, I mean, we're talking about a level of access that we just have not seen as young men. So as a young man, you can go on.
The point you're making is that there are more females today who are trying to be independent content creators in the adult film business than we've ever seen. And it used to be that it was just a few chicks who went through the Ford agency or something, and some random chicks who got off fresh out of high school who got off the bus in Los Angeles or Las Vegas. That's what it used to be. Today, it used to be they were getting off the Greyhound bus station in Los Angeles. Today, the bus station is everywhere. Anybody with a phone or a laptop, the bus station is there. So as opposed to going to Larry Flint and Hustler and trying to get themselves on, trying to get those guys to get them on, they sit up here and try to get themselves on. And it's what you're finding out is that far more females are willing to go there and make a run at it than they ever tried to let on. They tried to make it seem like, I would never do nothing like that. And what you're finding out is, no. There's far more who would do it. Far more who would do it and far more who are doing it than they ever. All they needed was a channel that was convenient enough. They just needed a distribution channel that was convenient enough, and they took to it like a duck to water across the board. Across the board.
Yes. Yep.
Now that's bad. Now that's bad enough. It's bad enough. But what makes it worse, and this is why I separate them out. When you go to Instagram, Snapchat, you got a bunch of chicks sitting up here. I mean, some are underage. I don't want to talk about them. But the ones who are legal age, man, we have all seen every single geometric curve of their butt cheeks. We literally could have an AI program put them together in 3D. They've shown us every single possible dimension and perspective of their rear ends. They've got pictures in the dozens or the hundreds. And most of them not even being paid. So what's worse than the ones who are in the business is those who by their behaviors aspire to be. That's what makes it worse. They aspire to be. They aspire to get that level of attention, and they got dreams that they're going to get rewarded for it. But that's the other side of it. That there's so many of them who identify with that mindset that would do adult films, that would do Pornhub. That's the real issue. And yes, you are correct. It's more ubiquitous and commonplace today than it has ever been. They had an opportunity to show us that they would never do that, and they did exactly the opposite. They showed us, man, we would do it in a damn heartbeat. The only thing that's stopping most of them is they either don't have abs flat enough or you haven't offered enough money.
Exactly. And I'll land my plane here, Jason. I don't think the women understand what that's done to them in the dating market.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. Brother, biggest lie in the world is that the females are deceived, naive, unknowing. They don't know. Brother, they hear it every day and they argue with you. Take a look at the chick who called me up earlier. They know what we're saying. They know what we're saying. And what they're saying is we are in revolt against you. Yes, we know what it is you want, and we don't want to do that. We think we can slut it up, and we think that we can have we can have it all. I can have my slut phase, and then I can have my Susie Homemaker come save me phase. And I can be as happy or unhappy with either of them as I wish to be, which is why 50% of marriages end in divorce, with 80% of those being filed by the women. Well, guess who it was who was pushing for the marriage? 80% of marriages are pushed for by the women. And then 80% of the divorces are pushed for by the women. 90% of the breakups are pushed for by the females. The same female who insists on having a relationship, 90% of them are going to be the ones insisting to end it. That's what having it all means to them. It means I can have it, I can use you, I can abuse you, I can do whatever I want. That's what it means.
That's crazy.
That's literally
crazy.
what it means now. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Ladies, if you want to know why it is that going forward you think the women are cynical, you better wait and see what the men gonna be. Ladies, if you think the foolishness and silliness that we're hearing right now is tough on the men, wait till you see how tough it's gonna be on you. Because if you really believe this silly ass little woman making this article, or these surveys from these man-hating apps you use, if you really do believe that the men are going to sit here and let you tell us that you're not going to change and that you can have the biggest, wildest, most AC/DC Led Zeppelin world tour of sluttery that you could possibly have, and that the men just going to sit here and he's going to be a traditional man while you be Debbie Does the World, man, look here. It's not going to go that way. The men are going to adapt to it. You're just not going to like how they adapt. Because at the end of the day, here's the problem. Sex is easy to get. A relationship and marriage is hard. And the men are becoming less interested. So when you start talking about fewer folk getting married, just understand that's the bill. Ladies, if you think that thought culture is harmless, the men saying they don't want to get married, that's your bill. 72% of the women are looking for a long-term relationship and can't get it. That's your bill. I was slutting it up and yucking it up and doing what I do, and don't worry, I'll throw a buzzer beater and somebody will treat me like I never got ran through. 2020 vote, here's your bill. Let's talk about getting married. Here's your bill. Well, I'd like to be with an alpha that I respect. He's going to be like, heifer, please. Here's your bill. That little old whiny ass beta over there, yeah, you can have him. Here's your bill. Here's your bill. It will be neither tax-free nor on sale. And the cost will be steep. All right, let's get over here on Zoom. Let me see. Who do I have here on Zoom? And the cost will be steep. Turn off your speakers. Here on Zoom. Let me see. Who do I have here? What in the hell is wrong with you?
It's on the TV. Sorry, sir.
What's your name?
My name is Regina from Las Vegas.
Regina from Las Vegas. All right, what's on your mind?
Is there any hope for the girls who are not the only fans, who don't believe in the thoughting it up, who don't want the wholeness, who are not trying to look for that type of lifestyle, and even if they do want to have fun, not sexually, but live their life and explore, etc., what do you say to those girls?
Live their life and explore. Once again, metaphors. So
No.
I don't believe that you are looking to be a merchant marine sailor, and I don't think you're looking to go sailing around the world with Marco Polos. When we say explore, what do we mean?
I want to travel the world. I want to go to Europe. I want to go to the Caribbean. I want to go to the islands.
I want to travel the world. I want to go to Europe. I want to go to the Caribbean. I want to go to the islands. So you understand, Jason Black is listening to every syllable that you're saying. I hear you there. Go to Europe and the Caribbean and the islands to do what?
Not get ran through.
I didn't say what not to do. Second try. I want to go to Europe and the Caribbean and the islands to do what?
Visit the places, try the food, explore the landmarks that are historic.
Okay. And after you've done that, what will you do with that?
Save it for a memory.
Well, memories are nice. Memories are wonderful, but what is the purpose of a memory?
Exploring the world.
No, ma'am. Let's check second try. What is the purpose of a memory?
Emotional happiness.
Alrighty then.
Ma'am, your memories throughout your life, have they all been for your emotional happiness?
No.
So Jason was not trying to pigeonhole you here. He meant exactly what he asked. What is a memory for?
To be honest, other than that, I really don't know.
Okay, folks. Why do we have our memories? Our memories tell us our values. Our memories tell us what we've learned. Our memories safeguard our virtues. It's not about being happy. We have memories that make us happy, sad, angry, disappointed, but all of them should be adding to us. So if we're going to travel the world and you're not going to go colonize it, which is you're not going to do that. But if you're going to do that, then the question is, how is this adding to me as a person? Emotional happiness. Ma'am, you can go to Haagen-Dazs and get emotional happiness. You don't travel to get emotional happiness, though you should be doing it to get development because you should be growing as a person. So the person that you are at 25 is not the person that you are at 35. And that development is what you bring to with a man. So maybe if he's traveled, these are the things he's learned. By definition, learning changes you. So recognize what your reason is for doing it. There's too many chicks out here going on girlcations. They're going on girls' trips and they're coming back the exact same females they left. Raggedy. That's the reason why when you take a trip with a man, it goes markedly different and has a different impact on you than a trip with a bunch of females. That's why you want that. Because you know that going with him is going to bring you back a different person. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking to grow as a person. That's the difference. Otherwise, you went to the Hilton in France. You might as well have gone to the Hilton in Dallas. It had just as much of an impact on you. So that's the reason for traveling if you're not going to colonize. If you're going to colonize, that's different. Since none of you will be colonizing anywhere, if you're going to do that, that's different. But here's the real issue. Here's the question you need to ask yourself, and this is going to be a difficult one, so I'm giving you a moment to brace yourself. Are you ready for impact?
Yes.
She doesn't sound ready to me. What? I will try to be as diplomatic with this as I can. Why would you be worthy of that?
Ooh. That is not a question I'm ready, nor do I know how, when, where, or to find it.
Alrighty then.
I want you to, let me find out something here. How old are you?
26.
Okay. Think about this for just a few moments here. You're looking for a guy who ostensibly has it all together. He's going to be meeting a female who's still trying to figure out what she wants. The only thing a man can do with a chick like that, well, there's one thing he knows he can do. But what he can't do is risk very much investment. This investment doesn't even know what it is. So until she gets that firmly solidified, there's nothing to invest in. She literally can't tell us why she's worth it. So why would he do that? She's got to get herself together first. And together first means she knows who she is. She knows where her purpose is. She's not stumbling her way through life. It's not about I know what I want in a man. It's I know who I am in myself. Now, Where I usually begin that with people, but females in particular, is an area of expertise. So, where is your area of feminine expertise?
I know being feminine is beyond just you talking softly and doing this and that. It's following a man's lead and cooperating with him and your value as a woman. Now I'm still learning femininity because I didn't get taught that from no generation of woman in my life.
Well, I'm seeing on my screen is super weird right now. How did you do that with your hand? Never mind. I thought there was another person. Okay, I said she's got the longest arms I've ever seen. Where that came up.
I'm 5'11".
Okay, clearly. Maybe I thought it was 7'11". All right, like I said, it's camera tricks, I guess. It's just that it just really got me right there when I saw that hand come up. I'm like, whoa, is there a second person in the room? Tell that Negro get his hands off you. All right, here's the thing, all right? First of all, your job is to demonstrate to a man that you're his best option. Jason, best option for what? Everything. If you want a man to make a complete commitment to you, the easiest way to do that is very simple. Sell him on it. How do I sell him on it? I'm your best option. Men are looking to simplify our lives, preferably to consolidate. Now, we love having more than one female, but that gets to be a logistical hassle after a while. Preferably, we'd like to have one chick who can do it all. Problem, too many chicks are so self-absorbed, they don't want to make sure they can handle that. So she wants him to be everything for her, but she doesn't want to be everything for him. And we can see that you're not committed to doing that. So just understand, water will seek and meet its own level. So when you show us through your actions, Regina, your actions, we ain't listening to your words. We're taking a look at what you do or what you don't do. And just understand, we're not going to say anything to you. And you all think we're dirty when we do this. See, this thing is right here. Females think men are dirty. Y'all think we raw. You think we're wrong because we will have already decided that we're never going to marry you, never going to make a long-term commitment, never going to be faithful to you, and we still sitting right there next to you. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, a decade, 20 years later, if we haven't moved on, we're still sitting right there, and we've already made up our mind that it's already gone as far as it's going to go. We just ain't telling you. That might get in the way of future sexual access. So we cool right here. And we also know not to say anything to you about it. That's the way we deal with a woman who isn't our best option and is showing through her actions she ain't moving. Well, guess what? You ain't moving, neither are we. But the issue is you're on a tighter clock than we are. And by the time you figure out that you and I are not playing the same game, by the time you figure out that I got a longer runway than you do, now you're going to be angry and mad. He took my best years. You didn't have any good years. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. You didn't have any good years. He just took what little value, he accepted what little value was there, but truth be told, you didn't really have any good years. This is why it's a waste, and I'm not calling you a waste, but I'm just saying it's a waste of time for me to put many females in the hands of a man who is built. I would hate for you to meet him because you're going to fumble the ball. I can put you in front of the perfect guy. He's going to be great for you the rest of your life, but he better not meet you right now. Because the only thing that's going to happen is he's going to leave.
And that's pretty much fair. You're not being an asshole if that's not, like you said, if a woman gets screwed with someone she's not ready to handle, you're going to waste her time, let alone the guys.
Right, but here's the real issue. The real issue is few things diminish a woman's life more than being with a man who is not her best option. And just remember, if you're not the type of man you want to be with's best option, that just leaves you with whoever is going to take you. And you wind up taking whoever will take you. That's when things get disappointing. because the definition now is stagnation. There is a problem with an older woman dating a younger man who's not solidified. And I'm not holding myself up as an example because I dated mostly older women my entire life and pretty much left most of them the way I found them. They had fun. They learned some things. Great, wonderful, that's great and everything. But I was never going to make a long-term commitment to any of them, although everything in life does not have to be a lifetime commitment. Sure. Did I add value to them? Absolutely. Is that what most women are looking for? No. Because if you're adding value to their life, they want you to continue adding it. It's too rare to find someone who can. Why would they want you to add value to their life for 2 years if they can have it for 20 or 40? So that's what you're looking for, is someone who can add to that. Well, guess what? The guy's looking for the same thing. But he's not going to be very inspired to do that if there's not a return on the investment of the time. And you have to be concerned because your runway is not as long as ours. And all that running around and don't know who you are and don't know what you're doing, just remember that's a very limited bank account of time you're spending. And eventually you end up with a guy who can't really change you, upgrade you, develop you. So now you're with somebody's, what they say, that age gap thing. Now you're with somebody's grandpa and he's cool where he is. He's not trying to develop you. He's too old. He's seen too much. Or you're, as I was saying, you're with a younger fella who he's just discovering himself in the world and he's not trying to develop you either. Not the way you're thinking. He's loving the sex, but he's not trying to develop you. That guy who's in that sweet spot where he's competitive and he's in the hunt and he's in the race, that's the guy you're looking for. Because now you get to be, now he's competing to develop you. That's it. It's a rocket ship taking off, and all you do is hang on for the ride. But hanging on for the ride means you're on a rocket ship, you must be an astronaut. Okay. How'd you do in flight school? Well, Jason, I really want it. And the question isn't, do you want it? The question is, do you qualify? Regina, what qualifies you?
Age, youth, but what would disqualify me is my weight and lack of motivation to get my ass up and work.
Okay. Let me ask you about your mama. You already know where this is going. Is she anywhere around there?
She's not. I live by myself.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure she wasn't going to come around the corner and stop lying on me. So I just wanted to make sure that wasn't going to happen. But the weight issue is, especially in your case, because you're looking like a good size 18. Am I close?
Hell no.
Okay. Where are we at?
10, 12, depending on the clothes, because they fluctuate.
Lie.
That's not a lie.
Baby, I'm not going to embarrass you by having you show me some labels. So let's just ease back on the gas on that. Let's not do that. Because I could say
12. I will show you pants.
No, baby, don't show me no pants. Show me you. Stand up. Let's see this selfie. Good grief. She's telling the truth. How you got such a sloppy top? Baby, look here. I'm brutally honest. Yes, she's telling the truth, but what? She just looks sloppy. Sit down. Well, this is the first one I've ever had before. She's just sloppy top on her. But she doesn't have nearly as far to go as the others. She just looked like she's a size 24. That camera is doing you injustice. I'm talking about injustice like Superman and Batman in the video game. That's injustice. Okay, the good news is you ain't a size 18. That's the good news. Here's the bad news. The bad news is you're right about everything else. Please understand, you're looking for a motivated, competitive man. Well, he's looking for a motivated, competitive woman. And you're not even having to be competitive about the same thing he's competitive about. And she's failing at the basics. Well, I'm not motivated. Baby, you're 26. If you ain't got it by now, these are basic character traits. These aren't even job skills. That's a basic character trait. Am I a competitive person or am I not a competitive person? And you're going to have to be competitive if you want choices in men. Now, if you're looking to just take whatever you can get, that's fine. But if you want choices, if you actually want to be able to make a choice between this guy and that guy over there, then you're going to have to show the world that you're a woman who's competitive herself, that men would have to compete for. And that's an attitude.
I would say I've been overwhelmed with options and going through some kind of like faulty things in my life. My car broke down, trying to keep my head afloat. In Las Vegas, I wouldn't say the money isn't booming in the casinos, but it fluctuates up and down and unpredictable when you know as a casino worker where, okay, you don't know when you're going to have a drought, where you're going to get sent home back to back to back, where you're only working 5 hours a day. Even if you're getting paid high hourly rate and even if you're getting tip, baby, sometimes those tips going to be dry.
Well, you're right, but here's the other issue I want you to understand here. And I mean this as sympathetically as I can, because I understand economies get to be messed up. You're in Vegas. Folks don't understand that's the casino thing is like a gig thing is what it really is. There's a lot of overestimation of that. I understand that. I need you to understand this. No man is looking for a bad luck broad, except a fella with no options. The guy that I think, or at least I hope you want to be with, baby, he's not looking for a chick who would come with problems. You need to be a chick who solves her issues. Otherwise, a chick who comes to a man with problems, we don't call those problems, we call that baggage. Do you have any children?
No.
Okay. Guess what? You bringing us single mom problems, you ain't even a single mom. Think about that for a few moments. There's a bunch of women who are living single mom lifestyles and they don't even have the kids. So what I'm saying is, once again, is a man's best option going to be a chick coming to him at the front door talking about the problems she's got? Remember, you're the captain of your ship. You're the coach of your team. When we start comparing you to other women, you're not the only woman in Vegas.
Oh, I see the chicks with the abs and the bodies.
Okay, well, I didn't say nothing about abs or bodies, baby. Listen to me. I didn't say anything about that. Am I talking about that?
No.
The bad luck story is what you just told me about the casino. Stop wandering behind your eyes and not listening to what I'm saying and your mind's wandering off. Get back over here. I'm talking about what you just said at that casino. That alone, with a badass body, is going to disqualify you. You think we don't meet a bunch of badass chicks with problems?
Oh, you do.
I just chipped off one. You meet a bunch of badass broads with problems. And what we do is we start making adjustments. Why? Because I can't let your problem become my problem. You over here because you are obviously liking somebody who handles his business. What are you telling me? You can't handle your business. That you're telling me how much I should invest in you, how much I should trust you with. You're telling me what that is with your actions. Let me ask you a question here. How much patience would you have for a dude who 2 years later is telling you about how the shifts at the casino ain't coming right for him and he can't get his money straight and he having car problems? 2 years later, how much patience you got for that fellow on your couch?
Very little.
What makes you think we're different? What makes you think the men see a woman differently? If it's 24 months later and she's still whining about the same damn thing, damn, you ain't fixed that yet? So this is what a relationship with you would be like, is hearing about your problems. You'll never fix the problems. We won't get to that point. You fixing them, we're going to complain about it. But then again, that's not your goal now, is it? Because when a woman keeps complaining about her problems, but then she says, but I want a man. Well, yeah, you've been led to believe that a man is going to come fix your problems. Yeah, if I can just find the right dude and jump on his back, well, then I don't have to become competent myself. He'll be competent and he'll fix it for me. Man, if y'all don't get off that garbage, baby, you need to show him that you are already handling your business, because a person who's competent men are not looking for incompetent women any more than a competent woman is looking for an incompetent man. A competent man is looking for a match, not a mix. That's what it means to show him you're his best option. Show him the problems you have overcome, not the problems you're still struggling with. Show him your actions, not your words. Show him your solutions, not your problems. And when the reason why six-pack abs register with people, not just men, but people, is because what does that say? That's your action saying, I know how to solve that belly fat issue. I got solutions. I got answers. That's what that means. I don't have to take your word for it. You're showing me. Do you see why that hits different?
Yeah. The people who talk about it versus the people who be about it.
Because the folks who talk about it are going to talk forever. And we'll be here with them in 20 years with them still giving us the same damn sob story. Smart people learn that that's not going to change. And then they put distance. Dumb people stick around waiting for you to get better. Or scheming people are like, well, there's one thing she can do. Whether she broke or not. Whether she's right size or not. Well, there's one thing she's useful for. And that you're never going to run out of dudes scheming for that. Never. Your job is to be a hard target. You're not a hard target when you're carrying problems. You're an easy target. When you handle your business, now you know what handling business actually looks like. So when you meet a fellow who ain't handling his, you will immediately see that. And that doesn't mean not just having his finances together. A fellow who's directionless or aimless. A fellow who is not reliable. A fellow who is not dependable. A fellow who is not progressing. He's progressed to a certain point, but you see he isn't still going. If you're still going, you'll be able to recognize a fellow who's still going or isn't. Because you've lived it, not somebody told you. That's where the disconnect is.
Thank you, Mr. Black, for the insight. Well, are you done talking?
Eek, eek, eek. Brake pedal. I'm going to have to get a brake pedal sound effect. Here's my thing where you're concerned. This is the issue I have here. There are those of you, and I'm from a mid-sized southern city, but there are those of you who are in megalopolises. New York, LA, Vegas, Dallas, Atlanta. Baby, you already know what the dress code is. You already know. How the hell you 26 years old in Sin City, billions of dollars floating around that place. Billions. You work at the casino, you see the hoes in the lobby getting theirs, and yet here's Regina. Now she sees these other folk, but it's making no impression on her. She's not competitive. So how the hell are you sitting in a place with billions of dollars floating? You know the dress code, you know the fashion code, you know the style code, and you are not exhibiting that on a daily basis. What's going on?
Like you said, that was not a priority. Growing up, I was told, get it on your own. Don't depend on no man. You be set to where if God forbid, if you do break up, he's the one who has to leave, not you're the one having to leave. Right.
But what I'm saying is that you're also in the city that you're surrounded by a bunch of other females who are competitive as hell. Take a look what they're wearing in them cocktail outfits of those casinos. You're looking at them and then you're looking at yourself. Where's the disconnect here? What's going on? Where is your desire to show that you can outcompete them just as a woman, not even for a man, but just as a woman? Hey, I can outcompete y'all. What's going on? Where's that?
Not feeling like, honestly, I never felt worthy because I'm Black, and seeing how the fact that you like certain type of girl. And not
y'all, we're getting the "but I'm Black" from the caramel colored ones. This is how far the silliness has progressed. Now we getting the light skinned chicks talking about, well, I'm Black. We're getting that. This is how far the excuse making has deteriorated. This is how far we're going. This is how far we're going. Right here. Right here. I'm light skinned, but see, the problem is I'm black. Really? Really? So you don't think it's worth being competitive because you think that somebody is holding your light skinnedness, and I said skinned, your light skinnedness against you.
I think it works for me and against me at the same time.
Who is it working against you with?
The mixed chicks, the exotic chicks.
Okay, you trying to impress them?
No.
Okay. Who are the men you trying to impress?
The producers, the ones who are go-getters.
Okay.
The ones.
I'm just trying to figure out who are these men who have a problem with it.
Honestly, not very many.
Okay, I didn't think there was. Now, I don't know if she's angry for a zaddy or not, and I'm not going to hold it against her on this phone call, but my point is, don't say nothing. Be quiet, dumbass. Don't say anything. You just sit there and hold your head still. You don't say anything. Jason is self-employed and can say crazy stuff. You don't say nothing. Got it? Not in response to that question, you don't. Jason is protecting the ignorant youth, y'all. You don't say anything in response to that question. You just sit there and look at the camera all crazy. Ooh, I don't know what you're talking about. That's all you need to. I said that. That's why I'm stopping you. Don't say anything. My point here is this idea that that's being held against you. That's an excuse. You're 26 years old. You are in the prime of your health. You're supposed to look the part. How much of that hanging off your scalp right now is coming out of your hair follicles?
This is a wig.
Baby, what we doing? What are we doing?
I've been bullshitting, as my mentors say.
These are, in football, this is what you call an unforced error. You were born with hair coming out your head. What I'm saying is that non-verbally, you are communicating to men that you're lazy. And that's not going to get sympathy. Regina, I'm sorry for what your daddy didn't do for you. I'm sorry for what your mom didn't do for you. I'm sorry that you were born into it. I'm sorry for the screwed up situation. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not just. Welcome to the world. None of us were given everything we needed, not even Jason Black. You got to get out here and get it out the mud. And getting out the mud isn't always financial. Sometimes it's manhood. You got to get out the mud. Sometimes it's womanhood. You got to get out the mud for yourself. Did you have parents that either did not know or did not care? And now you're going to have to compensate for that. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. I keep reminding you all, I don't care how quote unquote great you think your parents are. There's no parents who prepared you 100%. There's always going to be something you have to get on your own. Always. You might have a few things more you have to get. But furthermore, even if they did give you those things, you're going to have to develop your own style. One that is you. The one that worked for your mom shouldn't be 100% compatible for you. You're not your mom. You didn't grow up when she did. You're not dealing with the environment she was in. But furthermore, you're not her. I think you're a nice kid. You're polite. Then again, you might be a jerk in real life. Who knows? We just met. But what I will tell you here is that what you're exuding is you're not comfortable in your own skin. And it screams from everything. You don't have your own style. You're not comfortable in your own skin. You're a potentially cute girl, but you're plain. And I can say that because I had a guy who decades ago was charitable enough, nice enough to say that to me. I didn't get it. I didn't see it. He did. He told me, man, you dress like your life is effing boring. And I realized he's right. Now, that does give you stability, and there is value in appreciating a boring day. But what I'm saying is that if you take it to a point where there's nothing remarkable about you, that you've just kind of receded into yourself, then that's what people see. And what I'm saying is, as a woman, your most powerful tool is your presentation. That is your most powerful tool as a woman, what you do, not what you say. And what you're saying is, I'm meek. I'm not adventurous. I don't have a style. I don't have a definition of who I am. I got a bunch of t-shirts and pajamas. Think about that for a few moments. I want to travel to Europe, but she buys her clothes at Walmart. Nothing wrong with shopping at Walmart. What I'm saying, though, is to think about this for a few moments here. Right now, you've got almost 2,500 people watching you right now, and she presented herself to us with, well, she said, I'm comfortable. Well, she certainly is. My thing is, I can see your clothes here. You're very comfortable. This is you on a daily basis. This is you all day, every day. And what I'm saying is, but she wants a man who is going to pay for Monaco and Paris and Nordstrom's and Bloomingdale's. But take a look at her presentation. Is this Nordstrom's, Bloomingdale, Paris, Monaco presentation? That's our point. It's not about faking it till you make it. I'm talking about becoming it. There are 3 things that every female has absolute control of. Doesn't matter how bad a neighborhood you came from. It doesn't matter what messed up conditions you come from. You've got absolute control over 3 things. Number 1, the way you talk. Number 2, the way you look. That includes your weight. And number 3, the way you dress. You've got absolute control of those 3 things. That's why we got so many chicks running around with no clothes on at all. Well, you got control of that too. Nobody else has control of that. Nobody can stop you except you. So when we see you a certain way, we know this was a choice, not a condition. So you're very good for pointing those things out, and you all thought I was going to get on about the weight thing. No, that's low-hanging fruit, and that's an excuse. In reality, we have a character issue. She is recessive and receded into herself. That's the issue. And what I'm saying is, what you're going to qualify for is a guy who's receded into himself. A dominant male is not, we need every female to be submissive, but we're not looking for a recessive one. That's too far back. Your job is to show him that you can be a rocket booster for him. But you can't do that if you haven't learned how to push yourself. So I'm going to make some suggestions here. Suggestion number 1, baby, I'm from Louisiana. We bout it, don't talk about it, be about it. Damn the talking. Get to the doing and get it done. You're a size 10. Baby, y'all got gyms, trainers, and every damn thing all over Vegas. That's the one of the biggest spots in the world for that. Not America, biggest spots in the world. There's no excuses. You got to strip 5,000 steps a day. Nothing processed, nothing out of a box or a bag. You're a female. You already know what you're supposed to be doing. You're either going to have a better life or you're going to replicate your mom's. That's your choice. You can have a better life or you can go have hers. But you're making a decision right now. And the issue that I have is at 26, the decisions that you make now for the next 24 months, between 26 and 28, baby, that's going to be what holds you for the next 10 years. When you get to a point where you're going to feel, my wheels are just spinning. Yeah, between 26 and 28, you chose to make a decision for what the next decade would be. Because every year it gets harder. The cost of living goes up. Your ability to make these changes goes down. So every time you come at me with one of them excuses, just remember you're running out of runway. You can't do this year after year. It becomes your habit to just live like this after a certain point. That's why you got to shake that off. So I don't know what your parents did or did not do. I'm the only voice of sympathy you're ever going to get. So sorry that happened. We got to move on. At some point, this has to become Regina's life. I did not say it would be easy. the most valuable things in the world to have aren't. A plain basic life is easy. Failing is easy. Problems are easy. Kicking it in the ass and solving it, no, that's hard. But it's worth it. But you're going to have to bleed. The choice is up to you.
I'm going to change and kick my ass and do what I need to do and stop bitching about it. And like you said, be about it. I don't want my mother's life. Oh,
Very
Lord.
glad to hear that. However, it is now November of 2023. If you adopt exactly what I said, you literally can drop 1 to 2 whole dress sizes, and actually you should be able to do 2 within the next 60 calendar days. All my fitness people, sit your asses down. That's very, very doable, but that's only to prove it. What I mean is that there's no reason in the world why you have radical changes that have to be made. In your case, it's only slight in that regard. But this is the beginning of your discipline. You can control what comes out of your mouth and also what goes into it, and that this will become your lifestyle and your habit. People who have weight issues, that is always a product of one thing. They don't have something that they do. They got plenty of time to sit around and eat, because if they're actually working, they wouldn't have time to do that. In your case, it's not even a tremendous issue there. In your case, you don't have a fitness regimen at all. You need one. You need one simply because that communicates to men, hey, I care about my damn self. If you're already doing it, then the man knows I ain't got to teach you to do it. Because going into 2024, ladies, we ain't looking for a chick we drag into the gym. That doesn't work. Fellas, don't be trying to drag chicks to the gym. If she doesn't consider it to be important enough to go on her own, leave her where she is, fellas. There's been a bunch of y'all who tried that and it doesn't work. I'm an anomaly, fellas. You guys trying it, it's not going to work. If that's not her lifestyle already, it isn't going to work. If she's not going on her own already, it ain't going to work. You're not going to be able to whoop her bad enough to get her to want that. If she's not already living that life, forget about it. Gina, you got to live that life. Nobody in your family has done it. It's time for you to get used to it. That's how you communicate to men that you're not a joke. Then you're going to see the way they respond to you become radically different. They're not going to come up to you with the baby thing. They're going to come up to you offering sex and benefits, sex and resources, as opposed to just sex. But it starts with you communicating to them non-verbally that, by the way, this is who I am. And when they see that, when they talk about self-care, that's the only self-care that really matters in that regard. Now, you can't stop there, but what I'm saying is that's a place that you absolutely control and you can start. And this will prove whether or not you mean it. Now, what I want for you to do here is this is voluntary, but what I do this to everybody who says this. By the way, Icy Kitty, been waiting. You can send me an email at handlethebusiness@yahoo.com. Don't worry. Handlethebusiness@yahoo.com. My mods will post it in the chat room, but it should be easy to remember. Handlethebusiness@yahoo.com. We are the business. Just the word handle on the front. Handle the business, because you're going to handle your business. Handlethebusiness@yahoo.com. I want you to send me an email there, and I want to check back on you in 60 days. It'll be past New Year's. We don't wait on New Year's resolutions. We start already. I want to check back on you in 60 days. It will be no problem for you to have a fitness regimen and a hairstylist. Someone that you go see once a month. I'm not even saying once a week. Once every 30 days. That their job is to look at you, no wigs, no weaves, no nothing, to get with your scalp and start working with that, to start fixing what God gave you growing out of your head. That is the unique thing. Anybody can go buy a wig. Baby, the reason why growing your own hair is critical for a feminine being is because guess who's got the worldwide monopoly on Regina's hair growing out of Regina's scalp. If a man wants to feel Regina's hair, there's only one place on this planet he can go to get that. He can get your wig anywhere. There's a Sally Beauty Supply in every city. He can only get the hair that grows out of your scalp from you. It feels different. It smells different. It responds different. It's unique. You're giving him something he can get anywhere right now. Give him these unique things. The reason why having your body together is important is because he can't get that everywhere else. Your curves and dips are unique to you. They're like fingerprints. They're yours. If he wants that, only one place on the planet he can get that. That smile is unique to you. And if he ever wants to see it again, there's only one place in the world he can get that. I'm assuming your eyebrows are real. They look like they're not painted on.
Yeah, they're real.
Thank you, because a lot of chicks out there, I don't know what the epidemic of bald brows is, but we got a bald brow epidemic right now. You're right.
Well, my hair.
Unlike a bunch of chicks out there, you don't actually put yours on. It looks like you got eyelashes. So far, you're batting 1,000 in that regard. You don't have eyelashes? I'm asking, do you have eyelashes or do you not?
No, I don't.
How the hell? What is the disorder that has no eyebrows or no eyelashes? I'm gonna have to Google that and see what that is. I don't know how. I thought everybody had eyelashes, and I'm finding out later some of y'all there's just no brows, no lashes. We gotta forget COVID. We gotta fix this. My point, though, is that you got a lot of those things that are just unforced errors. You can fix those. You literally could fix every single issue I see right now. You literally could fix it within 60 calendar days. Literally. No joke. Literally not a day beyond 90 calendar days. There's no reason you couldn't do that. Everything after that would just be fine-tuning. None. So what I will offer you is, because I think people sometimes do better when they know somebody is looking. You called me up. Okay, we're going to be about that business. I want you to email me, and I want to check back on you in 60 calendar days.
Do you want before pictures?
Yes, that's a good place to start. Now you need to you'll be holding yourself accountable. I've got some folks who they've been serious about their work and they've shown me, and that's good. We ain't waiting until New Year's. And I know Thanksgiving is this week. Guess who ain't going to be grabbing the drumstick? Mm-hmm. All right, baby, the drumstick, the dressing, the cornbread, the yams, no, baby. Your Thanksgiving going to be push-ups. And it'll be the best investment you've ever made in yourself. And a lot of people who've known you are going to be like, what the hell got into her? And they're going to be like, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with her. She finally got right. So that's my invitation to you. Take it or leave it. You don't even have to say anything now. But if you do email me, I will expect to see results. Not results tomorrow, but I will expect to see them.
I'll send you the results in 60 days.
No. You're going to email me now, and you're going to show us what we got to work with now, and then we will come back.
Thank you, Mr. Black, for the hard truth that's actually needed.
Are you actually going to do it?
Yes.
When are you actually going to do it?
Right now.
Well, what are you waiting around here for?
Good night, Mr. Black.
Don't tell me you're going to be about it and you ain't about it. I'm going to get started. When? Right now. And I see you still sitting in front of me. Let me get over here, back on Zoom. Let me see if I can get Don up here. I'm going to go back to Blog Talk. I see Timmy over there on Blog Talk. Okay. Get to her here in just a moment. I can see that. All right, Don is on Zimbabwe broadband, so we gotta wait for the satellite phone to make its connection. Wait for them to turn the generators back on. So Don is contacting us from Ethiopia Mobile. They said he is connecting the audios. Don, you are holding the whole program up, brother. All right, man. Look here. Dude, that Nigerian SIM card you got. Don, okay, bro. We got to come back to you. All right, call America 26. What am I talking about? Timmy, all right. You're on the line with the business. What's on your mind?
How are you? Good evening. Season Black. I love this broadcast. I just want to say just everything you say is correct. So I get a lot of attacks from the workplace when I bring up your talking point. Now, I do work in a mostly female environment, and it's supposed to be a place where you're supposed to advocate for females to do better. But you said, a lot of these old females, they are backwards and they give bad advice. For instance, with weight, they try to, I guess, stop body shame. And so they tell the females it's okay to look the way they do, knowing that it's to have health repercussions. You do bring up talking points that's from yours. I mean, the venom that you would get from these females is ridiculous. So it's like you try to do the right thing and say the truth, but you get a bunch of angry females gang up on you. But everything you say is true, and I haven't really met too many older females, and I'm talking about females in their 50s, 60s that will actually. I haven't seen a wise older female giving good advice, either intentionally or not intentionally. But I just want to say keep up the good work, and I appreciate everything, and you have a good night, sir.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Let me go back and try Zoom one more time. We're on Don here. We'll see. I'm not going to wait all night for that. Okay, Don is out there somewhere. Don, brother, what is... All right. Don, check back with us next week, brother. I don't know if... Did you pay Idi Amin for the mobile bill, brother? Did you pay Haile Selassie the cell phone bill this month, brother? It seems like Emperor Selassie said he cut your service off. So I know it's rough, but, Emperor Selassie said you late. He's not giving you any more credit. You are overextended. So it's, Charles Taylor said he wants his tires back. Well, folks, like I say, look, going into this thing here, man, 2023 is coming to a close here, but I want you to know that the foolery is at epic proportions. You're not going to be able to get away from it. And they are literally encouraging these people to make it worse. So keep your eyes and your wits about you. Stay the course. I'm just giving you a heads up on some of the poison that's being leaked into the environment so that you can formulate your game plan, so that you can get more resolute, since this is some of the stuff that folks are hearing and now they are expressing, that this is some of what they're expressing out there. Now you know what's going on. Now you're better prepared for it to deal with it. That's the most important thing. Not here to complain about it. You're here to be aware of what's going on. It's like, hey, you hear what they're saying over there? Okay, we got it. The whole purpose of my program is so that everyone can be on the same page and recognize what we're up against. Or don't. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll get lucky and they'll leave you alone. But I doubt it. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. Click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't joined us on Patreon, the link is in the description. We do it each Saturday, 12 noon Central Time. You are, of course, invited to join us. A lot of information tonight. Really good look. We'll be following up if people want to do that, or if not, that's an option for you as well. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo, Serenity. See you over there, the real books, and everybody else. Thank you very much for your support. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business will handle you.